Okay, so hope you're all having a good night, evening, morning, wherever you are in this world. AW Aaron Warder here. As Monday night. This is not going to be a long stream. Maybe an hour, maybe a hour, perhaps 2 hours. 2 hours. I'm not 100% sure as of yet. Because there's stuff I want to talk about, and the topic is really how James Gunn should set up a reboot Justice League movie because there will be a Justice League movie, but really this title should be how I would set up a Justice League movie. Okay? And I'm gonna boil from the MCU's formula from the first few phases. The first phase really. The first phase actually. But it's gonna be a little different. And feel free to come on, be in the chat, tell me your thoughts. Please. Okay, so look. James Gunn said we're gonna get an idea for his DC universe. Or not his, but him and Saffron's ideas for the next for their 8 to 10 year plan to build their universe, whether it's through movies, TV, animation, or video games. And I'm joined by Blind Braille. What's up, Blind Braille? What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Oh, yeah. I'll just let you know I'm doing a video game stream tomorrow, earlier than this at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll be around?
Possibly. I'll let you know.
Okay. So okay. Now where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about the Justice League movie. Okay. And I was like, I don't believe in the scoopers. Daniel RPK was proven wrong by James Gunn yesterday. He was
Hmm.
debunked because he's the one that said the Green Lantern show was canceled. James Gunn said, "Nope, fake." Did you hear that?
Yes, that was today, right?
I think that might have been today. Was it? Did he tweet about it today, James Gunn?
I think he did. Yes, he said not true or
Yeah.
something
So
like that.
that was debunked.
It was. He didn't reply to Daniel RPK. Was that the
No,
person?
the
Was that?
comic book resources or review, whatever that
Yeah,
website is.
comicbook.com. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're the only site I put Green Lantern in the search engine Google, but I just put in Green Lantern, and they're the only site who took that about being
Hmm.
canceled. And it mentions down below Scooper Dan RPK, and I'm like, yeah, you can't take. Here's the thing, there's people that are circling that believe in Dan RPK, but he's been proven wrong a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, right now he has like a bunch of Marvel scoops that we'll see if they turn out to be true. I mean, I would say he's hit and miss.
Like
He's gotten some stuff right, but I
never
don't know
trust,
as of recently.
never. Here's the thing, we could be scoopers too. We could say what we see is coming, but never trust scoopers. I
Yep.
don't trust scoopers until it's official word. Yeah. So, and in my time to shine stuff, I don't know. I'm telling you, Chloe Zhao is going to direct a sequel.
Um,
She,
I don't know about that. Just that rumor to me, I think that sounds like a bunch of BS for as of right now, because it just doesn't even make any sense. Like Judgment Day, like you guys are like so basically, in other words, you're gonna remove the X-Men and Avengers and just do some of the parts of Judgment Day. Like, I mean, it's not too crazy of an idea, but it just feels like why do that? Why not just like
because
set that up for something else?
she does that. People don't understand. She does that. She plays around. She
Yeah, I don't know if I buy
she
that
play
rumor.
she, people. She plays with our emotions though. She's always been doing that.
Yeah.
She does that. Right? Okay. It's like that's The ones that hide behind not a name or anything, they do that.
Well, she does that. I mean, she's gotten stuff right, and I think,
But she's
I mean, she hasn't gotten. I don't think she's gotten a DC scoop right. So I wouldn't believe her on anything about DC related, but she has gotten stuff Marvel related right. So I still don't trust any of these scoopers though.
except Shuri being Black Panther. She was
Yeah. Um,
she was
she
wrong with
didn't
that.
say Doctor Doom was in it. She I have to look back and see what she got wrong
Who who is the
exactly,
first
but
who was the first one that said Doctor Doom was gonna be a cameo of Black Panther?
I have no clue. I'm trying to look and see who was the first person who said that.
And then I'm like, and I think you and I agree. Yeah, I don't think it was ever gonna be a cameo.
No, I don't. I really think. I mean, I was telling you last night. I'm like, if they ever put Doctor Doom in a movie, in this, like phase 5 or 6, like it's gonna be like it would be such a waste in my opinion. Just save him. Like,
Yeah,
don't even bother hinting at him. Like, maybe you can hint at him at like the end of Secret Wars, right? But like, I know a lot of people are like,
yeah,
but he's in Secret Wars, right? He's a villain in Secret Wars, but they haven't set him up in order to
you
do
have to
that.
introduce him to the next phase. One to have him big in Secret Wars.
Well, they would have to introduce him like
Yeah,
not in a post credit scene. They would have
exactly.
to introduce him as a villain and establish his motivations, because then it makes no
But
sense.
who? But who? Why? Which movie would he be established? Like it's Phase Five?
I have no clue.
Because all the Phase Five movies is 2023, 2024, and it's like Ant Man. No, he's not gonna be an Ant Man.
Maybe Captain America or Thunderbolts, but if that
Maybe.
is true, I'd be really pissed off if that turns out to be true.
I think. Look, I think there's a chance he may not be in these phases at all.
Well, I really hope so. But
I
anyway,
really
we're
don't.
that's Marvel stuff. But
I I think there's a possibility that they might save it for the after because look, Fantastic Four probably gonna get a sequel to the first movie.
yeah, I mean that's gonna get a trilogy, no doubt, unless it like
and
bombs.
and you still gotta do the relationship between Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom, whether Doctor Doom can be also used as more of a whole world kind of villain. You still gotta have that relationship between
Well, I think he should be low key. Like he should be
yeah,
jumping around. He should possibly maybe even get his own show. I mean, like we've already seen him in a Fantastic Four movie as the villain, and to be honest, I
twice.
don't think
Oh,
they really want to do that again because it just feels tiresome and it feels old at this point. Like you want to do something that's like somewhat new, right?
hmm But he still has to have the relationship with the Fantastic Four in some way,
Hmm.
right? Because it's important to read in his character. In the where was I? But you know what? We can all guess Marvel. Like, the thing about DC, the thing about DC is, I was talking about Justice League, right? My idea is I was going to take some things from the first phase MCU and how that led to an Avengers movie, but a little different. We're not going to have solo movies for Batman, okay? No solo movies for Batman, okay? We don't need that. He could be like Hawkeye, Black Widow, or Nick Fury. We don't need a solo movie for those characters because we already got the Batman universe and we got a bunch of Batman movies. So
Well, I
we,
think it depends though what type of Batman. Because
I
I really think the Batman is really gonna mess things up. Because like if you do another young Batman, then in my
yeah,
opinion, the young Batman better be Robert Pattinson, right? Like
that's my
I'm not saying
point.
he needs to be in um the same universe as the Batman, but like it would make some sense if it was just like okay, it's a familiar face, and then you can kind of be like, well, maybe it did happen,
That's my
right?
point. That's my point. I don't think it might not be Keaton's age Batman. It might not be Affleck's age, but maybe like a 35-year-old Batman, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's my point. That's my point. Have because it separates the Batman universe. That's why I don't think we need a solo movie for the Batman and DC, like Superman does, because you really need to rebuild that brand. Wonder Woman maybe might need a solo movie because '84 really hurt her brand, and
Hmm.
maybe. But how I would do is first I'll have a Superman movie, I'll have a Lobo movie, okay. And what happens is Superman of every villain. It could be Human Knight, it could be Mattel, whoever. We don't need Lobo for the first Superman villain. But then have Superman villain, then have a Lobo movie, and then at the end we get somebody hires Lobo to capture the Superman. And look, some people may not be happy with this, but it turns out that person who hires Lobo might be Brainiac. And then we get
Hmm.
Superman 2, Lobo versus Superman. But it turns out Brainiac turns on Lobo because Lobo, if in the comics, you all know that he's the last of his BC too, right? And then,
Hmm.
and at the end, the Superman and Lobo have to defeat Brainiac, but Brainiac is not defeated. Just not he's not defeated. And we get to a point where Brainiac wants to invade Earth, and let's say Superman already knows what Batman is. Maybe Superman and Batman already have a little bit of a relationship. Have them have a relationship already, and Superman's like, you know, don't you know, Batman? You know we're about to be invaded. And Bruce is like,
Hmm.
yes, I'm already on that. Because Batman's usually aware of stuff. And so and Batman's like the super the two of us might not be enough.
Hmm.
You know? It,
Yeah, I mean, I could see something like that happening where like they're already familiar with each other, but there's no Justice League.
yeah.
I could see that happening just because it is a little bit different. Like, I don't, I mean, I think people would be kind of right if it was like, okay, they're gonna just literally redo what they did with Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's just like, okay, they don't know each other and they're trying to assemble. Like to me, that is just, I think that's tiresome. They need to get away from that sort of assembling of the team.
Yeah,
Like
at
maybe
least
they're familiar with each other and then they
yeah.
come together for some whatever
Not
reason.
not all. Like maybe some of them know each other. Not all of them have to know each other, but some of them. And then
Yeah.
you can introduce the other characters, have their own movie like the Flash, Green Lantern, whatever, whoever else. After they defeat Brainiac, maybe the origin story, how they became to be,
Mm-hmm.
right, or stuff like that. Or you could already have or you could have Hal Jordan already be established as a Green Lantern in the Justice League movie.
Hmm.
Maybe he's aware of this invasion happening on his planet, Earth, and he goes to Earth.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea if there was. I mean, we'll see because it's James Gunn, and I
Yeah,
feel like it would. I would definitely have it be that Hal Jordan already exists.
yeah,
He's been a Green Lantern for quite some time, but he's been off Earth, right? So he's a very like established Green Lantern, right?
yeah,
And then you would get, you could probably, I mean, it would make more sense if they did John Stewart than Kyle Rayner or even Guy Gardner. But like they come in and they're sort of the rookie. And so then you can have them just be like, okay, there's the experienced cop. It's kind of like like Lethal Weapon, but in space. You know what I mean? Like that's a different uh, sort of a premise to have, right? That they really haven't done before in a superhero movie. And
yeah.
I would even, to be honest, if I was James Gunn, I would just get rid of that Green Lantern show. I think that's just going to
Oh
be too
yeah, too.
expensive. It to me, even though it makes a lot of sense, right? Because Green Lantern has all these stories and stuff. I think it's either you have to pick it as a movie, or this is going to be a big budget TV show that's going to expand multiple seasons, right? And it's not just going to focus on like one Green Lantern per season. It's going to follow two characters, right?
Hmm.
And you can obviously go into the Green Lantern lore, explore the rainbow of lanterns, and then later down the road when
Oh,
the universe is established, you could
my
do.
favorite lantern, Larfleeze.
Oh man, I mean,
No,
yeah, you can.
this should be a Christmas special.
Oh boy,
Do you remember that when he tried to he tried to try to steal all the presents from Santa or something like that? He thought Santa was
mm,
real. I don't know. Yeah,
yeah,
continue.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think I would do that with Green Lantern. I think that makes the most sense. It's just I think it's gonna be I mean, maybe it won't be hard because they already have some visual cue that they can take from, like with Miss Marvel and her powers. So, because the Green Lantern 2011 movie was garbage, right? In terms of the visual effects,
yes,
and that's something that you have to nail for the character. And if you don't, then that's gonna be a disaster.
yeah. See, yeah. I mean, who would your if you had to do the Justice League first Justice League, who would your seven be? It doesn't have to be like
Um, I
who would
definitely don't want to see what Zack Snyder did. I definitely don't want to see
do you want?
the the Grant Morrison JLA, which is pretty much Zack Snyder's Justice League, or even the New 52. Like I think a mix of the DC animated universe, but I think they need more female heroes, right? I don't know about Black Canary. I think Black Canary is kind of
Mm,
uh not. I think she's a little bit
that's
not on the same power level as everybody, but I mean, it sort of depends, right? Because sometimes she can be really powerful, and then
it's
other times it doesn't seem like it.
it's fun. Like Wonder Woman is really like for a long time it's only been only female. That's like at the head. You know, like the first seven one to form Justice League,
Hmm.
they always get to vote right on stuff. Like Wonder Woman's always been like the only female winning that group for a
Yeah,
while.
it's just sort of weird to me. I mean, the Avengers did it too, and where it's just like
Yes,
Black
they did.
Widow. So I feel like if you add at least, like, I think some people are right. Maybe like you have like maybe three female members, and then you can have four males, right? Because then that would be seven,
You know what's gonna
right?
happen. You know what's gonna happen. Not us, but you know certain people are gonna say that's woke.
I mean, I don't think it. I mean, I think it makes a better dynamic, right?
But you know the hardcores, the ones that want everything to be like the comics or whatever. They want the original Justice League to be want to have like the main like Batman,
Yeah,
Superman, obviously Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Flash, and whoever. They don't want to. It just be the only woman they want is Wonder Woman in the original.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think people also want Hawk Girl. I think people wouldn't
Hawk
really
Girl, yeah.
complain. I
Oh
would
yeah,
definitely put Hawk Girl on there for obvious
yes.
reasons. But like another character, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing them do Vixen. I think that would be an interesting character. It would kind of like, I don't know, it would be interesting because she's a character that they just she's there. She's been on the Justice League, but like she's really never used, and she has interesting powers. I could definitely see working in a movie that we haven't really seen,
What
right?
could the
Shape
animal be?
shifting,
Yeah, shapeshifting animal.
yeah, right. I
What do you
mean, you have two characters like that at
what
DC,
do you
like
rather
two
have?
big characters, but
Hall Justice or the Watchtower? I think I'll go Watchtower because if they're being threatened by aliens or whatever, the other creatures, whatever,
yeah.
you go. That's the thing. That's
Um,
the thing. The
I
Avengers go.
think I think they would help both,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest. I
Hmm.
think the Watchtower will be like, I can see the Watchtower coming first, and then you do the Hall like when there's like way more people, right? So
Yeah.
then you can have like the sort of like original seven be in the Watchtower, and then everybody else would just group at the Hall, right? That to me makes some sense. But I mean, in terms of like what they could do with the movies, the solo movies, I think this is going to be like the hardest thing, right? Because in
Yeah.
my opinion, you kind of need to do a solo Batman movie. I think this Matt Reeves stuff, I like the Matt Reeves movie, but like if this is gonna like take away from the cinematic universe, then I don't really know what they can do. Like you can't do the exact same thing you were doing with the DCU, right? Where Batman has no movie, and you don't establish him other than in other people's movies, which to
And
me makes no sense.
it has to me the bat if they do a solo Batman has to be kind of in between the Robert Pattinson's Batman and the Ben Affleck's Batman, where Ben Affleck's Batman is like a 20-year veteran Batman, and Robert Pattinson's Batman is a 2-year veteran. To me, in this new universe, has to be like in between, maybe like 5 to 8 year Batman.
I would say 10. I would say
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
I would say he can't. He can be like he. I don't know. Maybe he's like close to 40, and so then you could say he started at 25, or he's like 35.
and can we have him be aware of metahumans, unlike BVS?
Well, yeah. I want him to have. I think they really need to be like this is a Batman with Robin.
Or
He's fought a lot of his rogues gallery, like because and we need to like see this, right? Like we can't just be told about this because
yeah.
this is the same trap that they did with Ben Affleck, and I did think Ben Affleck had the potential to be a good Batman. Out of all the stuff in
I
the
did too.
Snyderverse, I think Ben Affleck. I remember when they first casted Ben Affleck, and you won't find people saying this. People hated his casting, but yet it
For the
was such a
Daredevil,
perfect casting. Yeah, they hate him because they were like, oh, he's a shit actor and blah blah blah, and he should just go back to making. Go back 2013 in August. I remember, and people were dumping on it and they're
yeah,
shitting
I
on it.
remember.
I was like, he has the potential to be the like the Batman in the animated universe and the Arkham universe, and they never did that. That was like the biggest fail of the DCU was like not doing anything with Ben
Oh,
Affleck's Batman. And then now they just
oh
cause
my
like
god,
this
yeah.
massive confusion where it's like, okay, now the Batman, like people are like, oh, the Batman's like an Elseworld story. In my opinion, it doesn't feel like an Elseworld story. Like there's nothing about it other than it being grounded, right? Which, by the
Yeah,
way, this it's only the first movie, so and we have a bunch of people on social media saying, oh, the next villain should be Mister Freeze. Well, Mister Freeze is definitely not a grounded character, right?
no.
Like I don't think there's any way you can spin the character to make it seem like, oh yeah, this is like
I,
realistic.
I have no. Like, the Batman animated series had. I watch animated series. It's on Teletoon all the time now, right on 12 a.m. like our time.
Hmm.
They had an episode where guy gets turned into a werewolf,
Hmm.
right? Like, come on, like I don't mind it being grounded, but you could have that kind of stuff in grounded movies and TV shows. You could do that kind of stuff. It
I,
has to
I
make
just
sense.
I just really think if this is really gonna work, like they
Logan,
need to somehow they need to somehow do something
Logan,
with the Batman.
Logan's grounded, and they had powers and mutant stuff. That worked.
Yeah, I mean this whole grounded thing I just think is like
They,
I
they
really think it's Matt Reeves going like, listen, I want to do my own thing, right? Which is fine. But like it's a franchise. It's like this character has like continuously been,
and
oh, Batman can't be associated with the Justice League. He can't be associated with superheroes. It's just kind of annoying.
but not, but these people don't understand. I know. I like the Batman Memories universe. I understand. Batman can be grounded, but yeah, people have to understand. Batman's able to take down metahumans.
Yeah. I
Come
mean,
on.
there's so I mean a lot of his characters are they are weird characters. They're not grounded in any sort of sense. Like
No,
some of them you can make them grounded,
and
but like I just really want them to move away from this. Like this idea that oh like in order to tell serious stories it has to be grounded. Like that's not true. Like we
no.
need to stop with that garbage because it's like if you read a lot of comics, there's dark, super dark comics where again there's all this fantasy elements in there. People are
Yeah,
using their powers, superheroes exist.
that's
Like
that's what people don't understand. Grounded doesn't mean that.
no, yeah, it's super annoying this
Grounded is
uh
just grounded is just another word for tone of the movie.
yeah.
Really, it doesn't mean you can have people with powers in grounded movies. Like I said 2 minutes ago, Logan was a great example of that. That was grounded, and it was great with mutants and stuff. It was great.
Hmm.
Like, why people? How these people are saying, "Oh, Batman needs to be grounded." How does people watch Batman before and other shows? Like, he's been in Justice League. He's able to take down metahumans. Like, come on, come on, really?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, and that's what they got
It
to do.
is ridiculous.
And that's what they got to do in this Batman with the James Gunn. Have him take on not many. He doesn't need to be. He could be still be grounded, but not like Matt Reeves grounded. As the people would say, because he'll still take on people with powers and stuff.
Like you
You
know,
know,
what's annoying? Like this grounded thing that has gone. I mean, mostly because of Christopher Nolan, right?
and that
Like
wasn't grounded.
it
Come on.
got so bad, right? Where now people associate Robin with being like not grounded. Robin can be definitely grounded, right? They've just never done it, which
And
is weird.
you want to know something? The Arrow show was grounded, and they had fantasy elements in it, and it was not a good show.
Like it's just, I think whatever they are gonna do with Batman,
Hmm.
I think it's even way more important because I mean, again, you have the Batman, and it's like like I said, I like the Batman, but like if we're talking about a cinematic universe, I would just say just merge the Batman. Like this idea of like, oh, we can't have the Batman in the new DCU. Like, why? I just don't understand. Like, what is so hard, right? Like, just you don't even need Superman or all these other characters to appear in his movie, right? That because that rarely happens in Batman comics, right? Just
Hmm.
ignore it. Like, I think so many. The one thing that bothers me a lot is when people always come up with these weird like, oh, why doesn't like Superman just come in and save the day? It's like because it would ruin the damn story. Like and so far the
That's
Marvel
so
started
easy.
believing that bull crap, and in my opinion, it ruined a lot of their movies because people were complaining, oh, in Iron Man 3, why doesn't like Thor just come and help Iron Man? Because it makes no sense. It
You have no
doesn't fit the
story.
story. Yeah, you have no story, and
You know,
because
I
of
see.
this,
I know it's in the movie. Is some of the Marvel stuff. Is what? Where's the Avengers? They something to use that. How come the Avengers aren't helping?
yes,
See,
I really, really hate
Mar-
whoever that. I don't. It's beyond me why Marvel
Mar-
listened to that criticism
yeah, Marvel acknowledges it, huh? Like they really do.
because no one would be saying this if the story was like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, the story was gripping and all that stuff, right? Most of the time, the story is not that great, right? It's like passable at best.
Hmm.
So I can understand why people always say, "Oh, why doesn't this character just show up?" Right? But I'm always like, especially from someone who reads a lot of comics, I really hate
Yes, Marcus.
some of the like the dumb things that people say, when it comes to like power levels or why this character just doesn't do this or this
Hey,
character just shows up.
you know what Stan Lee says about power level? It depends on who writes the comic.
Yeah, it's like listen. I keep saying this, right? This whole genre is literally dudes in tights fighting each other.
Yeah,
Okay, like
it's not
it's
real.
not that serious, right?
No.
Like if you can kind of believe Superman and Batman exist, then you can kind of excuse the other stuff, right? Especially if it's not at a disservice of the story, right? If it or the characters, right? In those cases, I would agree, right? Like, oh, all of a sudden now you're changing this character's powers because it makes sense for the story. It's like, no, you shouldn't do that, right? There should be consistency, but like and this is goes back to the problem with the new DCU. I definitely want a reboot, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, how is this really going to work, right? Like like sit down and think about it logically, right? Because some of the characters we haven't really even questioned. Like, would a reboot even make sense for this character? Like Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Like, how are you going to reboot the character
I
and
think
be like, hey, we still have more stories. I mean, both most people agree that Aquaman isn't a character who has like a ton of like great runs that you can pull from,
yeah.
right?
I mean,
So it's like,
he's been a joke most of his whole life. Almost.
well, dude, I mean, like most people in the public see it that way, but like if you go back and read his comics, right? Some of them are okay, right? I think a lot of people agree that New 52 is
Yeah,
changed up his character a lot, and right before the New 52, there was some, I guess, some decent stuff. I'm not gonna say all of it was decent, but like again, how, like, what are you gonna do with his character, right? Like, are you going to reboot it where he looks more like the traditional Aquaman? because
I
that
mean,
might throw off a lot of people.
I don't want to see that version of Aquaman. I kind of like Jason Momoa's version of Aquaman, or the one from the Justice League show. I like Aquaman be looking at that man. Makes him look cooler. It makes him look more threatening.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, then what would be the point of now
Yeah,
recasting Jason Momoa, right?
I
You would
I
have to now look for someone who's like kind of embodies him a little bit. But then at that point, you're like, what's the point?
look of everybody who's been cast, Jason Momoa is like the perfect casting as Aquaman.
I mean, he definitely doesn't, to me, obviously strike the classic Aquaman, but he ended up being a kind of a cool
Yeah,
like reinvigoration of
I,
the character, right?
I don't think classic Aquaman would look good on screen.
I think people would just be like, well, that's the corny Aquaman. Like
Yeah,
now,
that's the
people think
reason.
Aquaman is cool.
That's that's the reason why they didn't want. That's the reason why they wanted Jason Momoa as Aquaman because they don't want the
Yeah.
vote. That's the reason, and they're not gonna right. I mean, the cool Aquaman was in the Justice League show. I mean, he wasn't part of Justice League, but when they had Aquaman in that show, he was cool. He had that hook as a hand, and he
Hmm.
had he had the blonde hair, but it was more like long blonde hair, and I think he had a goatee too, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean that's the thing. I'm like because they also have done this in the comics now, where he doesn't look like Jason Momoa, but they gave him the long hair and the kind of like striking look. So it's like again, if this is part of the new DCU, people are going to be like, well, what was the point? You know what I mean? Like this is like them basically rebooting, as an example, the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, and it was pretty much almost identical to the Sam Raimi universe, where you're just like, what was the point of rebooting it if it's literally identical, right? Like you
Yeah,
had to change it up a little bit so it makes sense, right? Like the Amazing Spider-Man was a lot more grounded than the Tobey Maguire universe. So then you're like, okay, I understand, right? And the Peter Parker looks a little
I
bit
mean,
different. His suit is different.
if you really think about the Sammy Raimi's movies, while they did have story, the stories were not that deep like the Amazing Spider-Man.
No, I mean, but they were focused on the character,
Yeah.
right? Like Spider-Man 2 is still a great movie. I don't
Yes,
care what anybody says.
it was.
Yeah, it's mostly about Peter trying to figure out who he is in his 20s, right?
Yeah.
And and to be honest, I don't think there's really been a Marvel movie recently that's like Spider-Man 2. Like something about Spider-Man 2 is very interesting because it's like, sure, he has a lot of battles and stuff, but you also get to see him save a lot of people, and it's sort of impactful. And I'm like, I can't remember that happening in the MCU. Like
Spider-Man.
the MC,
Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, sorry, I'm talking a
I'm
lot.
just
So
saying,
go.
and when you see saving people in MCU, when they have those battles in the cities, you really don't see any of the Avengers or ever like save
No,
people.
yeah, to me. There's some sort of disconnect going on with these movies now, where it's like they're saving the world, but you never feel like, oh, they actually saved like someone's life, like this
Yeah.
one individual's life, right? So I kind of want. I mean, I would want the DCEU to be like that, where it's like, oh, we actually get to see, Superman talking to people and he's saving people, and
And
there's sort of like this emotional connection,
Man of
right?
Steel, he saves people. Man of Steel, he saves people. In BVS, he saves people. Yeah, the DC does. Yeah, I would say. I know DC gets a lot of shit on, but at least we see a hero save people.
Yeah, like but I want it to be like okay, in the scene in Spider-Man 2, right, where he saves the people on the train,
Yeah, it
right?
was a
And they
great
have
scene.
that moment and then they're like, "Hey, we're going to like protect his identity." That's a
Yeah,
very impactful moment, right? Like there's no action there, but it's about the moral of the character and how people perceive his morals, right? And they respect that. But it's like there's no scene. I haven't seen a superhero movie that attempted to do a scene like that again, where it's like, oh, look at all these people acknowledging and respecting the character and their morals, right? Like they're like, oh my god, like Spider-Man's just this kid, right? And
no,
then they're like, they have
no,
so much respect that this kid is doing this, right? It's
no.
like,
You know what? It's not from a movie. Arkham Knight, when everybody felt on Batman was Bruce Wayne, how they respected Bruce, how they had more respect for Bruce Wayne.
yeah, I, I
Not as
just
much
want
as
to
that,
see something like that
but very
again.
similar. It's very similar in a way.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I don't know uh, that's
Yeah.
the one frustration I have with modern
Well,
superhero
that's the
movies.
problem with Marvel when everybody knows their identity, who you are.
Yeah, but I mean, even that doesn't matter. Like, just like, okay, here maybe like this is the most maybe recent example is when in Iron Man 3 with the kid and he's kind of helping out the kid. Like, I know people hate that little moment, right? But it's like you never really get to see like why these characters are still doing what they're doing. They're just like, oh yeah, we're superheroes. We got to save the day. But it's like, wouldn't
Oh,
you feel so disconnected knowing that you're saying saving millions of people? Like eventually they're gonna ask themselves like, what does one life even matter, right? Like we've never seen any sort of moment like that with one character where they're like, go back to the Ant-Man movies. What the hell is Ant-Man, right? Like, what the hell is like Captain Marvel? Like it's something about it to me feels like there's a disconnect. This is like my biggest
and
gripe with these characters, right? And also too that all their morals are kind of the same. Like there's no variation in their morals, like what they actually try to like bring to the table, right? It's usually oh they have cool powers that's like
yeah,
differentiates them from other heroes. It's like I don't know, that's kind of lame. There's got to be a little bit more going on.
yeah.
Yeah,
We're-
like it's Superman and Batman. Like okay, yes, at the end of the day, they all save people and stuff like that, but they have fundamentally different philosophies,
yes, they do.
right? And you should see that in a movie, right? Like Batman is very like he is. I mean, depends on the interpretation, right? Because there's so many damn interpretations, but majority of people see Batman as he's about rehabilitation. He wants to help people from becoming what
He
could
is.
happen to him, right?
Yeah,
Right? That's why he's Batman. He's trying to make sure that there's no
that's
kid out there
that's
that
why
ends up like him.
that's why as Bruce Wayne, when he's Bruce Wayne, he does a lot of donates a lot of money to orphanage, to his programs. So even though as Batman, he could save the day, stop crime, but as Bruce Wayne, he could try to prevent it by giving to charity, donating money stuff from his company.
Yeah, like there. I mean,
Yeah,
more of that I would want to see in a Batman movie, like him being like, oh, like this, whatever the circumstances, right? Like him trying to help the Joker, right? And it's not just like, oh, I'm trying to beat the
I hope
Joker and put him in prison.
I
It's
hope to
like,
see
no, it
that in
should be a
Matt
little
Reeves.
bit deeper than that.
I hope to see that in Matt Reeves universe. If they do something like a tragic character like Two Face or Mister Freeze, something like that.
Yeah, something that makes, I mean, like he can understand why they're in the position that they are,
Yeah,
right? And it's not just about like we got to punch the bad guy and put him in jail.
and a lot of people say he kills the Joker. People say he just killed the Joker. You know why he doesn't? Because
No,
Batman sees what the Joker could, what he could. Batman sees a Joker. He sees the Joker as what he could be if he went the other way.
yeah, I mean the Joker is
The polar opposite.
I mean he the one bad day, right? Like everybody
Yeah,
knows that line
yeah,
because it's representative of the fact that Joker is in a very similar position to Batman, right? They both have
terrible
a
stuff.
tragic sort of backstory, right? But the thing is, Batman used his tragedy to develop himself in a positive way, while
Joker
Joker
just gave
didn't.
in. Joker just
And
gave
so,
up.
yes, this is why I hate when people go, "Oh, the ending of the Killing Joke," right? Because that's always the go to. Oh,
Or he said he
he
kills
kills
him.
Joker. That's the dumbest thing. If that's what
It's
you took
not.
away from the story, then you didn't even read the story,
Killing Joker's
right?
canon.
I know, but like that's the theory, right? And it's like it
No,
makes no sense. Like
Killing
if you
Joker's
listen
canon.
to the ending,
Killing
what he
Joker's
says that joke that he says that joke is representative of their relationship. That Bat,
because yeah,
yeah, go.
because Bruce sees that. Batman sees that.
Yeah, it's just oh man, like I don't know. I just want something a little bit more like they're paying attention to these characters and their philosophies and not just making it about like this big giant action spectacle because we have hundreds of those now. right? Like at a certain point, like things are not going to seem fresh. And this reboot, that's the problem with this reboot, in my opinion. That things could seem like, oh, we've done this before, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, don't like the problem I have with Marvel is it's just that some of the villains' reasoning is so similar to almost every single movie now. Oh, we're trying to
Hmm.
destroy the world, or trying to destroy, like, it's always like some, not all of them, it's always like trying to take over the world or trying to destroy the world, right? Stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like,
we
I
need
don't
to
know.
get away from that kind of
It's a
storytelling because it's annoying.
it's a bad trope. It's a really bad trope.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, there's criticisms of, comic book storytelling, right? You can look this up. This is not like, this is not something foreign, right? Like
No.
most comic books always struggle with the plot, and that's because, I mean, when you're telling a story with so many issues, right? At a certain point, you can't tell a complex story because, you know what I mean? Like, you have to, each issue is supposed to get new people in, right?
Hmm.
Like you may be starting up on a point and have no reference to what came before, like 100 issues before, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they have to sort of focus on the character and tell a coherent story. I mean, sometimes they're telling a story, within 6 issues, right? That's usually an arc for a
Hmm.
comic. But like the plot is usually not going to be the main focus of the story, right? Rarely, right? It's mostly about the character, and they try to put them in new situations and try to like explore them, right? But at the ending of the arc, they have to do a reset, right?
Yeah.
So I always think that this is the problem with Marvel in general is that you can never really change a character dramatically because then you can't sell the character, right?
Yeah.
You can't dramatically change the status quo. And this is a criticism of, I mean, Marvel and DC in general, right? So, and I've always felt like they don't really have strong arcs in some of these movies, right? Like they pretty much, they have their origin, and then at the ending of their origin they become the character, and then they never really progress from there, right? There's never really a change. It's like they have like little bits of changes, right? And that would be the movie, and then at the end of the movie they're pretty much, they go back to the same, right? Like look at what people talk about Thor, right? Thor, another character who just seems like he's going on the same exact arc, and that's because they don't change him at the ending of the movie. He's just fundamentally the same, right? So they gotta really, if they want this genre to like continue, they really need to like stop with some of the tropes or try to like reinvigorate some of these tropes, right? Which it's, easier said than done.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll. I mean, hopefully we'll see that. We'll see that Marvel. Hopefully, I mean, 5 and 6 better hit it out of the ballpark, man. I just
Yeah.
really, really, because look, 4 is not a failure, man. It did not fail. Phase 4 did not fail. I'm not talking about money wise. It wasn't like it wasn't great. It has some
Mhm.
inconsistencies, but it's not a failure, man. Like in a way, like it's just I think it was just too much in a short amount of time. Phase 4 and Phase 5 is gonna be like that too. Phase 5 is gonna be like 2 years, and Phase 6 will probably be like 2 years. Like,
Mhm.
and I think
It should be longer.
yes, the rushing. I think rushing it is hurting it. They're hurting the quality. It's and I don't want DC to do that. I don't want DC to do that. And James Gunn obviously came from Marvel. He knows the Marvel formula, and but Salza wants quality, right? Not quantity. And look, here's be honest. Let's be honest. The next Disney Plus show for the next 2 years. Yes, I'm counting the 2024 shows. Besides maybe Daredevil, not a lot of hype about them.
Mhm.
Not a lot of
Yeah,
hype.
and we talked about this. There's not.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll see if people gravitate toward those shows when they release, right?
yeah,
But I definitely don't know what they're doing anymore. They're just like they give everybody a show,
Yeah, you
right?
get a show like Oprah. You get a show. You get a show. Yeah.
Yeah, like and I don't think that's a good way of like bringing or like putting out a character. Like some characters they work better as supporting characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Marvel and DC, like definitely with this DC reboot, like what I would do is um I would honestly, if I was James Gunn, right, I would probably have a year where there's no DC movie, and then I would just put out like Superman, right? And then maybe the next year you could put out two movies, right? But
Yeah.
like they can't just be like, we need four movies in a year. That's way too fast, right? First off, one, we don't even know if people will like this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if people don't like it and it bombs, then
Yes.
they're gonna
Oh.
be in a really bad position because at
Oh my
that point, I
God.
think the
I
brand
don't
would be
want to.
dead.
I can see if that happens. I can see the Snyder people.
Hmm.
Oh, it's gonna be like an atomic bomb from Snyder people if that happens. Atomic bomb on Twitter. If you get to that point,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
I mean,
insufferable.
it
Sir,
would be really a really bad look, and it would
I,
ruin pretty much everybody's careers, right?
yeah. Then it's DC cannot afford another setback. No,
No, yeah. They really need to like this needs to be, in
I
my
think
opinion, they need to treat this like they're starting from literal like ignore Marvel. Stop focusing on Marvel. Just being like, okay, let's just make a good movie first. Right? We
yeah.
have a plan, right? Let's focus on making the first movie out of the gate like a 10 out of 10, right? That should be the goal. And then once that's a hit, then you can be like, okay, we have the
I
plan
mean,
now,
you don't have to go for 10
so
out
it
of 10,
makes
but
sense.
maybe like an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10.
I would say aim as high as you can get, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That you need to knock this thing out of the
At least
park.
at least he has at least is reviewed positively and the general audience likes it,
Hmm.
right? Don't be decisive like Man of Steel or BVS because if that's the case, you're right. It's not going to work.
Hmm.
Has to have a positive. Has to be positive like the Batman.
Yep. Yeah, the Batman, I think if the next Superman movie gets the same reception as a Batman, that's a
Yeah,
win.
yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah.
And that's what
Thanks
they
for
should
asking.
aim for. Oh, it's up.
Yeah, because if that like I don't think we're gonna DC movie in 2024. I think you're right about possibly not having a movie a year. I think 2024 is definitely not having a DC movie unless Aquaman
Hmm.
2 gets moved in December. But I don't know
If it
any other.
gets moved, then there's going to be no movie in
It's
2025.
it's okay to grasp. Yeah, 2025. I don't know any other major movie that's announced for Christmas next year besides Aquaman, so it might be safe for now.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Like they need to like have no DC movies, and then people will be like, "What happened to DC?" That's how it should be, right? Like people are like, "Oh man, I miss DC. Like I wish there was a DC movie,
what we
right?"
should do
Or like,
here,
"Where's Superman?"
2025, you only know about two Marvel movies, right? Right?
Hmm.
There also is going to be a third, possibly a fourth one, but usually Marvel does three movies a year. I know in 2024 they're doing four, but I think Deadpool is still going to be is technically MCU, but I think it's being developed by Fox, right?
Hmm.
Right? Fox Studios, even though it's out under MCU umbrella. So 2025, that should be the target for the first movie, or and find a month in that year where there's no Marvel movie coming out for at least you know I don't know what the dates are in 2025. Oh yeah, Avengers has been pushed. Oh yeah, Fantastic Four is in February, right? And Avengers Kang Dynasty has been pushed to April or May. So maybe the first DC movie July, August.
July, August, I think that would be a good spot.
Yeah.
Try to get out of the way because I
So
mean, if the next movie is 2025, yeah,
to me,
it's gonna fall in between an Avengers movie,
to
right?
me,
So.
announced 2023. Whether I know they said January, but to me, 2023 announced what they have plans going forward. And then obviously Comic Con. Comic Con to me, I'm hopeful Comic Con will be big for DC this next year. Next year,
this again. I think. Listen, this is going to be controversial. I don't even think maybe this might be a good idea, but I think they should just skip it.
yeah.
I think they really need to make it seem like I don't know if they will. The thing is, like, the people on this social media, like, that's the only problem, right? Because then they can like change the narrative a little bit, right? Because if they stay too quiet, then people start making up lies, and then people start believing that lies, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Because look,
that's like the only concern.
look. I'll say this: if there is a Superman 2025, Kang Dynasty will still beat it in terms of money, even if Superman's
Mm,
good. I think that's pretty much obvious because it's an Avengers movie. Obviously, like, it will still box office will still beat it, but it could still be both. It could still be a good movie.
mhm,
But if Superman look if Superman is off to a good start, whereas a good reception like the Batman, and they do another DC movie, whether it's a Batman solo, a Wonder Woman solo, or Flash, Green Lantern, or whatever, and they do well, and then they announce a Justice League movie, Marvel may get scared once again like they did in 2016.
mm.
Because
Well, that's if they need to have like back to back
yeah,
like
yeah. Because they were
movies,
scared.
right?
Blind Brother, they were scared in 2016 with BVS. It's not beat around the bush. Marvel was afraid.
Yeah. I mean I think I mean we were just saying last night that what's it called that like the only thing that Marvel hasn't replicated and
Hey,
that
DL.
DC did that was
Hello.
successful was Suicide Squad, and now
Yeah,
they're trying to replicate that.
with the shitty Thunderbolts. What's up,
Yep.
DL? How you
Yeah.
doing?
What's up?
Hey, what's up?
I know you're just talking on Eddie's stream. Doesn't do a
Yeah.
Zit channel. It does a Baxter's channel.
Yep. Yep.
Where were we? Marvel's already scared. They better be. They better be scared. Be afraid, Marvel. Be afraid.
Well, they
Yeah.
probably got caught off guard.
Yeah, they should be
Yeah,
kicked off their high horse a little bit.
I know. I know
Mhm.
I know you got into like She-Hulk, which is your favorite Marvel show. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know I told Brian Bill this last night in private because I'm not looking forward to any of the Marvel shows in 2023. None of them interest me.
Yep.
Honestly, I'm not either. Like the only one I'm really interested in is Daredevil Born Again, but I'm more worried than
Yeah,
excited.
that's 24.
That's 2024.
Yeah. That's
I'm,
it.
Like
So anything else
next year has
coming
nothing.
next year, I don't care.
I'm looking forward to Star Wars
Yep.
more. Ahsoka and Mandalorian. I'm looking forward to those two more.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm
It's-
really trying to think like what shows next year. What shows are coming out next year? That I'm excited about
3 as of right now.
or somewhat looking forward to.
they don't even know when Secret Invasion is coming out. You think Secret Invasion was coming out the first few months of next year? But no, it'll probably come out like in March or April, obviously. Maybe
Mhm.
no, it'll probably come between Guardians and Ant-Man, obviously. Probably between then, because
Yeah, I don't even care
But I
about
think that's
Secret
when
Invasion.
Loki's coming out.
yeah, I don't know. I don't really don't care about Secret Invasion too. I don't know, man. Like Echo is like the one. Just Echo really needed her own show. I mean, like,
No.
I don't care about Loki. No.
yeah. To me, Echo is only about is Daredevil gonna be in it? Of course she is.
Yeah, I don't. Agatha Harkness. Don't care about that.
Mm-mm. It's. Can I say this? I'm looking forward to some of the video game stuff more than the video game shows. What video game shows are coming out next year? I know Last of Us is any other ones? Witcher.
Fallout, potentially.
Which one? Fallout. Okay,
Fallout.
that's Amazon too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll see because I think they're still shooting it, but they've been shooting it for the last 6 months now.
And they have Walter Goggins, right?
Yep. and he's the main character.
He's in everything, that guy.
Yep.
How
I mean, he's supposed to be a ghoul in the show, which is very interesting because this would mean this is the first ghoul character.
you do? How do you do a protagonist in that show? How do you like?
Well, I mean, if they're the fact that it's a ghoul, I think that's like the most interesting part of the show
Oh,
because we've never seen in any of the games. Like you can make, I think in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, you can make your character look like a ghoul, but it has no impact on the game because people treat ghouls differently, like in the Fallout universe. So it's going to be very interesting. Yeah.
Curry White.
Oh man. Oh man.
Who is that?
Oh man,
Watch that happen. Watch that happen. Oh my
is
god.
is Craven still out for next year? Is Zach still out scheduled for next year?
I thought that got delayed.
I thought Madam Rab got delayed to the year after, but it's Craven. I think
I
Craven.
thought both of them got delayed because
Check.
Craven was supposed to come out next month, but then it got like pushed back like really far.
That movie's gonna be a disaster.
I heard it was actually pretty good,
Oh
or at
really?
least better than Venom
No,
and
it's still
Morbius.
next year, October next year.
October next year. Really? October next?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know if that means anything, but that's what I heard about the movie. Might just be bullshit though.
Wait, which movie are you talking about?
Craven.
Oh, don't care. I don't care about this Sony verse. God,
It's
give
horrible.
me this end.
Dude, if Morbius shows up in that movie, I'm gonna be pissed off.
Oh god.
You know they're
don't
setting up
even
that
touch that.
Sister Six garbage.
Okay, you know what? I was listening to John Campia's show. Each Chris, Rob, and John, right? They did their 10 worst movies of the year, and John all of them had Morbius on. All three of them had Morbius, and John said the after credit scene in Morbius is the worst cameo and ending after credit scene of any comic book movie he's ever seen. And that is hard to disagree.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it's garbage. It's garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's garbage.
I mean, that's the only thing I've seen from that movie, so I know it's pretty bad.
I know you're talking about the ground scene. Sydney Sweeney, is that why you want to see the movie?
Oh man.
I mean, did Dakota Johnson have that big of jugs?
No, just Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, okay. I was about to say,
Yeah.
really, like, who are you talking about? Like Dakota
Dakota
Johnson.
Johnson is who she's playing
Yeah, I know
Older
she's
Brady,
playing.
right?
I know
Older
she's
Brady.
playing whoever her real name is. I know she's playing Madam Web, but it's like
Yeah, and then Sydney Sweeney becomes a new Madam Reb.
Yeah.
wait, what?
Yeah, Sydney
Yeah,
Sweeney,
there's two versions of the character.
yeah, Sydney Sweeney is playing the Julia Carpenter version, and Dakota Johnson is playing the ones like in the comics and in the animated show. That version.
What is this?
Is the
They're
plot rumor true that it's basically Terminator, but
Yeah.
it's okay. That
The
sounds
kill,
like garbage.
that's the rumor is that somebody sent back in time to kill Peter Parker's parents.
Yeah.
What is this movie?
It's basically the plot of basically the Terminator.
And then what was the Hypno Hustler thing?
Yes.
Who the hell that is?
What the hell?
Well, he's just
That was
a Prowler.
random as hell.
Beat a
Not
Prowler.
Not anymore.
Yeah, are we ever gonna get Miles Morales at all? If it's a different character?
Yeah, they're probably waiting for the Spider-Verse stuff to end so they could do live action stuff.
Don't forget the other the wrestler with Bad Bunny. That's gonna be
Nobody wants to see that. Why?
God.
How did Bad Bunny able to convince Zack Sassani the green light that? How was he able to do that?
No clue. Well, I think they gave it to him because they liked his performance in Bullet Train, which he's barely in the movie, which is weird.
And he barely talks.
Yep.
I like the guy. He's cool. He's a good guy. It's just that, really, were there just other characters that that are more well known you could do movies based off?
Oh no, because they're busy doing that and Hypno Hustler.
Yeah, the Hypno Hustler. I thought that was a joke.
Yeah, I heard this about Tom Hoffman, Degrassi, that he doesn't. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I don't think Pascal Fire could get rid of him because he doesn't work for them.
well, I mean, I think he's been more successful at Sony because remember he was at Fox, right? Way back. I mean, it's been like what 10 years now since. I mean, when did he leave Fox? Was it like 2015?
Yes.
Degrassi might correct me. Oh, dude, this has been a joke that's been going on. I swear to God, they're going to do it. Pace Pot Pete, it's going to happen.
God, I can't even argue with that because they're like anything goes. They could pull out any D level, E level, F level characters from the Spider Universe and make
Yeah.
movies out of them.
I also have Big Wheel. Big Wheel is another character I think is probably going to get a movie.
Oh Jesus!
Yep. X-Men Origin. That was his fault. And Deadpool. He's the reason why Deadpool didn't happen until like he left.
Oh, so when he left, Ryan Reynolds got his Deadpool. So he's the reason for that.
Yeah, they were still skeptical. Yeah, just look up Tom Rothman. Tom Rothman is the reason why we had the Fan 4 stick. Every single X-Men movie is kind of his fault. I mean, he was like just an infamous, terrible studio executive.
I mean, the X-Men movies are hit and miss.
Just at best.
Yeah. Like, it depends with X-Men movies, right? Like, there's either a good or a bad one.
Well, I would say the reason why we didn't get more X-Men movies is because of him. So make of that what you will.
Maybe well, that's probably the only good thing. He stopped this crazy train that is the X-Men films.
And now he's just Sony doing this shitting up Spider-Man. Thank you.
Yep. Now you're bringing that garbage to the Spider-Man movies. Thanks. Great.
I'm surprised that he probably will be more remembered for what he did at Sony than at Fox, but I mean, he hasn't had like a terrible track record at Sony, at least. I mean, he makes bad movies, right? But they're semi-successful. So,
I guess so. I guess. Was he involved? Was he the reason Venom happened?
Probably.
You're
Sony, right?
I'm pretty sure. They greenlit Venom like what, 2016, 2017. I think he was already in by the time that happened. I can't remember. So,
God, if Venom didn't freaking make $800 million, we wouldn't be in the situation.
Yeah, that's true. And Venom, like Carnage, was like, oh man, they really did not do a good job of Carnage.
Nope. That was really weird that they just killed him off in the ending.
Yeah, just like you're done. That's it. No, like just go kill off one of the biggest.
Yeah. They had their Joker right there.
Yeah, he could have been in multiple films. You could have built him up as one of the biggest baddies, but no. I mean, it's already weird that Spider-Man's not in there, but you know.
Yeah. I still think it was really weird that he was in the MCU and then they took him out after one movie. Like, what was that about? That was really weird.
Yeah, I think it was like I don't know. Actually, I don't even know.
Like Morbius, what Spider-Man they talk
Probably
about?
had a call from Marvel. It was like, "Hey, you remember?"
Sorry to cut you off. Highlight Degrassi's comment. I still, I mean, like, if you go and look at the track record, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. Like, in terms of, like, box office wise. I don't know about Bullet Train, though.
Bullet Train was well received. I don't know box office wise, but
no, box office wise. I mean, well received. I mean, I feel like recently people have been like, "Oh, it's like amazing," because they like it finally went to Netflix. But to me, that was a garbage movie. That was terrible.
Oh, you didn't
the ending of the no, I hate that movie. You know the ending where they do that water bottle montage? Yeah. I was so pissed off because at that point I was like, this movie's going on way too long, and I didn't care about it. It was like It was like a bootleg Tarantino movie, and it was just really bad. I didn't care
Oh,
for it.
I mean, yeah, it definitely had some Tarantino influences in there. I don't know. I
Yeah,
had fun with it. It was a it reminded me of, it felt like a live action anime. That's what it felt like.
yeah.
Um. Oh, they have
It's based on the
Ghostbusters.
book though,
I'll say this:
which is weird.
if he doesn't do
Yeah,
comic book stuff, his resume is good.
I mean, there was also Ghostbusters Afterlife. That's what he did.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I was checking his
yeah, and I didn't even
Wikipedia.
like that movie.
I'm checking his
What? You
Wiki-
didn't like Afterlife either?
No,
I'm
no.
checking Wikipedia. Checking Wikipedia. If you take away his comic book stuff, he is very successful. Because I'm looking at the movies, he's been. Some
Well,
of
look it up from like I would
yeah.
say 2018
I'm like,
to now.
okay, yeah.
Oh, I think Men in Black International will be in there then.
And to be
Oh,
fair, he's the one
oh,
behind the
you mean
Spider-Man deal.
Lord Valkyrie?
Yeah, yeah. Lord Valkyrie in suits. Yes.
that's, that's,
Oh, I completely forgot about that movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's trash.
everyone did.
that's you know what? That's all. When I watched that movie, I didn't see it in theaters, but I seen it on like on HBO or something, whatever. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I was thinking about the whole movie, Lord Valkyrie. Like that's all I was thinking.
That should have never happened.
Yeah,
They
that
should have
should.
just made that 21 Jump Street movie with Men in Black. That sounded way more interesting.
I mean, it's still a stupid idea, but probably more interesting than what they did with.
Well,
You know.
it kind of makes sense for 21 Jump Street. I mean, they joked
No,
about
it
that.
does
Then
not. Stop trying to crowbar. It does not
it,
work.
it it does though. Like the ending of the second movie, they joke about it. So it's like, I'll just do it.
Well,
Like
yeah,
just
with
it's stupid, but
all
who
those
cares?
sequels, those bad sequels they have a store at the end. Yeah,
And listen, anything besides that Men in Black International movie, that was hot garbage.
Yeah, it was garbage. But yeah, I don't want I didn't want them to cross over 21 Jump Street. That's so weird. That's like
It's
crossing
stupid.
over.
I will admit.
Yeah, that's like Universal crossing over Fast and Furious and Jurassic Park. It's not gonna work. Like just
That's
because
stupid, but I want to see that too.
dude, don't encourage the
who?
these behaviors.
It's so dumb. We're just like, I need to watch how
You know
dumb
what's
this is.
what? You know what's this dumber? It's like Giselle coming back and Fast and Furious. Like, oh my god,
At
mother.
this,
Oh
at this
man,
point,
that was
anything's
dumb.
possible. At this point, anything's possible.
Oh
Fast and Furious defines the law of physics, and it's not meant to be the comic book stuff or like science fiction. But
Well,
apparently
that's
it
what
is
it
now.
is.
no.
It is. Apparently it became science fiction, right?
Yeah,
Like,
dude. Yeah, I'm definitely expecting to get Gal Gadot back. I'm expecting that at this point.
family. You know, the final movie is going to be called Fast and Furious. We are family.
Oh god.
Yeah, just call it Fast Family. That's what
Yeah,
you could call it.
that's the way. Like that's the only thing Vin Diesel really has, though. Is Fast and Furious, because all this other stuff are not hits.
Well, Guardians, but that's about to end.
But yeah,
Well, rhetoric or what's that movie?
Riddick.
Damn, I
Okay,
keep
yeah.
Riddick. Yeah,
Oh, Riddick. Yeah.
He,
I
but
guess.
but his other stuff, he's been in a lot of bad movies.
yeah.
Yep.
And I wouldn't count Guardians because anybody could do the role he does. I'm sorry.
Damn.
I'm Groot. Oh my God.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
How
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah. He just got says 3 words in different articulations.
It probably does have to do
Yeah.
the mocap though. Does he have to do the mocap?
No, he doesn't do the mocap.
Then
Nope.
what? So they're paying him a lot of money just to say I'm Groot.
Just for the
Pretty much.
for the celebrity names, you know.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Literally could have got anybody to do that.
yeah, it's true.
Nope.
See, I know at least with Bradley Cooper, even though it works to walk around because at least he talks.
Yeah.
Well,
He has full sentences.
full sentences. Like Groot technically talks. But yeah, they needed star power to sell Guardians because like nothing was gonna sell Guardians on its own.
How many?
Mhm.
How many? Yeah, you know what? Fast and Furious took a fast. I'll say this: Fast and Furious has gotten more star power as the movie's gone on. Like Look at Charles Theron,
Yeah,
John Cena. You know, they got like
it was
Kurt.
The Rock, but you know,
Yeah, Kurt
Yep.
Russell. I mean, like
Kurt Russell. Yeah,
Brie Larson's in it now. Oh my God,
Brie Larson,
And Jason Momoa.
Yep.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
The Fast and Furious. If it wasn't, if they didn't rely on star power, that movie, those movies, when those franchises went, that it would die. It would die. It'd be dead.
Well, I think people
Mm,
go for the over the top
Yeah.
spectacle.
yeah.
They want to see how dumb it gets.
You know what?
I think, yeah. Yep. I agree with that.
I don't know, man. How many doing? They're doing 11, right? This is the 10th one.
They're
Yeah,
splitting the 10th one in parts, I think.
Oh my God.
if they get
It's so
that-
ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It went to space
Yeah.
and in a car.
Yep.
Hmm.
And
When they freeze,
in scuba outfits wrapped in duct.
didn't they have chocolate or something too?
They had candy. Yes, they were eating
Oh, man. I completely forgot about that movie.
in
Where's-
scuba diving outfits wrapped in
Where would
duct tape.
Tyrese Gibson's career be without Fast and Furious now?
Nowhere.
Nowhere. Yeah. Yep. Bro,
He was
like,
hard. He was like okay. Carnage is not a good movie, but he was wasted in that movie too.
yo, Tyrese Gibson was so desperate. Remember where he was like, I'm in the MCU now? No, you're not, bitch.
No.
Sit down.
Or
Well, Morbius.
he was trying to be Green Lantern too, and I'm like, no,
Yep.
no.
Well, everybody was trying to be Green Lantern. Like, well, someone recently on Twitter, they posted this. I remember this
Alright.
back in 2014. Guess who was campaigning to be Green Lantern?
The Rock. Yeah, I saw that.
The Rock.
Hey, the actor from Arrow is still trying to be Green Lantern, even though he got the ring, but he never turned into the Green Lantern.
Oh, the guy. You mean Diggle or whatever his name is?
Yeah, Diggle. Yeah.
Yeah. The Rock. Yep, The Rock. All this lies about. Oh, I was Black Adam for 15 years. No, you weren't.
Oh man,
Stop,
The Rock
stop
may
the
not
lies.
wrestle. There's just a possible chance The Rock may not wrestle WrestleMania. Oh.
No, man.
Well, that's sucky, I guess. What does he got to do? What else is he doing? Like,
I don't know, like too much stuff. The Rock does too many stuff, man. They can never like
Yep.
there's some actor. There's like not even notice actors like do two or three stuff, maybe a year at best. The Rock does like 10 things a year.
yeah.
Yeah, and none of them are good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like I'm like super excited to see The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania, but I was at least curious. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm curious next week, man. Wrestle Kingdom. Sasha
Oh, yeah.
Banks.
Wrestle Kingdom.
Himself Black Adam. He probably wanted to be a black Superman. That's probably what his goal was. Really.
Yeah, he wants to be. He wants
Yep.
to be Black Superman.
Yeah, he. I bet he picked Black Adam because it was like the closest to Superman, and it was like
Yeah.
it wasn't like Shazam. I think he saw. I think he could have been Shazam, but like knowing him, he was like, no, that's like too childish. So he was like, well, but Black Adam is kind of like edgier.
Mitch, you did the Tooth Fairy,
Yeah, he did
I
do
know,
Tooth
I
Fairy.
know.
and you just did Jungle Cruise. What are you talking about?
I'm telling you, he's a corny guy. He's super corny. Like,
I know. Yes, I know it from his wrestling days. A guy, he could turn it on. The Rock could turn it on when he needs to.
but you know, I always read people. I'm like, this. If you want to know the psyche of The Rock, right? Read the synopsis for the Young Rock TV show. Just you know what? If you're bored and you want to see how egomaniac this guy is, just read the synopsis.
I mean,
It's insane.
every wrestler is a bit. Let's be frank.
But this is like new heights of egotistical. Like, this is. Have you seen the show, by the way? Like,
Dude, he had not met Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels worse than The Rock. I can tell you that.
Oh man. But does he have a TV show where he's the president and then he's looking back on his life
Oh
and it's
no!
all this crazy stories
Yeah,
that
no.
never happened?
He did have a
Wait, you're
segment
talking about
back
Young
in
Rock? Are you talking about
Yes.
Shawn Michaels
Yes.
did have a.
Wait,
Shawn Michaels did have
he's a
segment.
president?
Yes,
Yeah, he's the president and
Shawn
like
Michaels
he's
did have a
rough.
but Shawn Michaels did have a segment on WWE Raw back in '98 with his buddy Triple H and China in the background, mocking the par- doing a parody of when Bill Clinton got caught with Monica Lewinsky. So they had him do something with SDX. DL, you might remember this, when he says, I did not sleep with that intern. Matter of fact, I was up all night.
Yep.
Mm.
That was the era where USA Network was pissed off with WWE because the DX was going too far with pushing the envelope, but it was getting the best reaction. But the USA Network hated it, and Vince is like, "Yeah, we're going to continue it."
Yeah, then they did that. Then they did that fake apology when they were cursing while they were apologizing on being profanity.
Except for wrestling this past Wednesday. Okay, AEW is on TBS, right? AEW tends to be a little bit more 14. I say 14 rated, right? Than WWE. So the insauce, the promos, and the violence is more, right? It's like the Batman kind of stuff. But you're still not allowed to the F word. You're not allowed to the F word. Fortunately, you have Rick Ross, the rapper Rick Ross, to mediate something between these two wrestlers. He told this wrestler named Keith Lee, and Keith Lee is a big man. And he said, "Oh, you're one big mother effer on live TV on TNT,
on live television,
on TBS." I don't know. There's nothing from Warner Bros. Says they're not happy with it, but I bet you're not happy with it.
What you gonna tell Rick Ross? No.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was a bad segment though. Overall, that was a terrible segment.
Yeah, it's not great.
Bruh.
Yeah. I know in WWE if you say the F word, you do get in trouble. But
well, I mean, Rick Ross doesn't work for AEW, so
yeah, he could get away with it.
Yeah,
because he doesn't work for them, right? But
yeah, that was funny though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a great. It was a great show, except for that segment. That segment was shit.
Yeah, it was not the best. Not the best.
No. One big. Oh, I've been to house shows. Past few years, I've been to house shows. My first house, I went to house shows in year '99, and then I didn't go to any house shows until 2014. But I did see The Rock wrestle twice at the house show, so I did get to see Black Adam up close in person. And I did get to see Peacemaker. I got to see Peacemaker up close in person too.
Nice.
Oh man.
And Costco Reeves, Mandalorian. Sasha Banks.
Did you see Drax in person?
No, unfortunately not.
Mm.
Hey, you want to know the story with Sasha Banks? Okay, this is a live house show, right? This is 2019, right? Just before the New Year's, right? After Christmas, because they do the holiday tour after Christmas, right?
Yeah. So,
Sasha Banks in 2019 was a heel with Bayley when Bayley just turned, right? At the same time, right? There was a tag team match. They were a tag team. Sasha Banks came out first with her theme music, walking down the aisle. And then some of the annoying kids behind me. And I love kids at wrestling events because they get the wrestlers' attention a lot. And I love annoying kids at wrestling events because of that. So they really annoyed the hell out of her. And she came up to them. And I was at the seats the next seats right next to them, right? I was in the aisle, right next to them. And Sasha Banks says, as a heel, she has to play a bad guy, right? And the kids knew. Those kids were smart. They knew she was playing a bad guy. She's like, I'm not. Don't touch me. You have dirty hands, stuff like that. I'm not gonna touch your hands. Yeah, you have dirty hands. I'm like, oh, you made her pissed, man. You pissed her off. I'm like, it's okay. Don't worry, she's playing character. Oh, it's another story. And Bayley's a heel, right? And there's a lot of Bayley fans right there, right? Bayley has a huge fan base, but a lot of them still have that ponytail and the hugger shirts and stuff. There's this one. There's this one friend that had a sign. There's a fan of Bailey. It was a positive sign. They still fan of Bailey. Bailey saw that sign, thumbs up. Then she went on her knee, like bending down, thumbs down.
Mhm. Savage.
Yeah. All
Like,
these
that's
shows are
not
wild,
me
man.
anymore.
That's the thing. That's the thing about wrestling shows, house shows. You feel like you're part of the show.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still don't understand the concept of house shows, but that's fine.
It's basically about reps and stuff.
I guess.
I did get to see John Cena. Like I did get to see John Cena up close after a show. He had like what happens is wrestlers, right? You have to travel from town to town and rent a car, right? But when John Cena came to town, he had no rent a car. He had a whole trailer for himself, a whole bus, a whole bus for
Of course
himself.
Of course.
Yeah, all the other wrestlers have rented cars. He had a whole bus himself.
Mhm. Of course he does. John Cena.
But he said thank you for coming out. He was nice.
That's good. Mhm.
Yeah, they didn't hold back. It was hilarious. Oh my! It would be funny if we saw a triple threat match at WrestleMania: The Rock versus John Cena versus Dave Bautista.
Ew, why? Why Dave?
Because you got a Raw, Black Adam versus Peacemaker versus Drax.
Oh Jesus.
No, man.
Who's the most dominant comic book character? That's the whole build up to that match. We'll find out WrestleMania 39.
That's ridiculous.
Black Adam would win, obviously. Because if he
You
had
think
powers.
so?
With the powers, Black Adam could beat Drax, right?
Oh yeah, I mean he's killing Peacemaker and Dragon.
Oh yeah, Peacemaker has no chance.
Right? Yeah, no, they're dead.
It's like Peacemaker's like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. Drax will blindly charge against Black Adam only to get incinerated.
Yeah. That's the thing about. That's the difference between Drax in the comics and the MCU. He's not like that
Hmm.
because he's the one who took out Thanos, right?
Yeah, he did.
Man, they should introduce Thane into the MCU, but they're not. There's no point in introducing Thane.
Oh, I bet he's gonna get introduced.
How do you introduce Thane though? How do you do it without Thanos?
No. I mean, he could just say that he had, an older son that left him.
Would you make him a villain or just a misunderstood child?
I think if he was a villain, it would be cliche. I mean,
Because he wasn't in it
he
first.
probably. Yeah, I don't think he needs to be a villain. I think that would be way too cliche.
I know. In the video game 2019, he wasn't. He became kind of obsessed with the Infinity Gauntlet, but he became obsessed with trying to take out his father because in the comics he hates Thanos, right? He hates his own father.
Mhm.
The thing is, how do you introduce him with inhuman aspect? Because he's very because I think Thanos in the comics, if I'm correct, had mated with the inhuman to have Thane, if I'm correct.
Yeah, you could just change it to be like he's an Eternal.
Technically, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we said both would be good at some point. Like, Watchtower first and then Hall of Justice. It made a thing be like, Gamora, you're not as real dark. I'm the real blood. I'm flesh and blood of Thanos. Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
Like
That's if Gamora stays around.
Yeah, I'm the son of.
I mean, I could see her staying around just for like Nova.
The thing is, who takes care of Thane? Because in the comics, who's the Black Order member that kind of manipulates that Thane? Is it Ebony?
Yeah, what's his name? The
Ebony
elf-looking dude.
Remember DL? When you saw Infinity War and Infinity God in Endgame. Remember the Black Order?
Yeah.
I forget one of them in the comics. I think you know this too. Kind of manipulates Thane in the comics. Is it Ebony Maw or Cornelius Grave?
Yeah,
It's
I don't remember.
Ebony
It's
Maw.
Is Ebony Maw?
Ebony Maw.
Yeah. Okay. But he's dead in the MCU.
Yeah.
Twice.
yeah. Unless they use the. Did they kill the alternate universe ones? I can't remember. In
Yes,
Endgame,
yes. The ones that came from 2014. Yeah, they died.
they died. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't even remember their deaths.
Well,
Well,
they all. I think I don't. They technically they would all disappear anyway because of Iron Man's, with the snap.
Oh yeah, the
Thanos'
snap.
arm.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point.
And the Black Order really was underused in those movies.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, they were just henchmen.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess henchmen,
And
but like I would
they're
say they were
supposed
underused in Infinity War.
But
Well, I mean, if you know their roles in the Jonathan Hickman Infinity, yeah, they're kind of underused.
I mean, yes, compared to the comics, yes.
Yeah.
there's actually supposed to be 5 of them. There was only 4 in the movies.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
Wait, no, there were 5.
No, not in the movies. I think
No,
there was
there
only
was
You had
4.
Black Dwarf, Ebony Maw. Oh wait, no, wait, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
that. It was that one that they sent to another part of the world in Doctor Strange and Wong. I forget it's the monster, the alien, and then there's
Yeah.
Proxy Midnighter. Is that her name, Proxy? And her
Proxy
Yeah.
Midnight.
and the other guy she loved. I think she loves Cornelius Grave, right? That's the one she had a relationship with.
Yeah.
And Ebony Maw.
Mhm.
Yeah, but there's 5. There's 5. There's really 5. In the video game, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, there was 5 of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, Secret Sanctuary maybe.
Mhm.
Oh, that's for the Justice League maybe. Yeah, but I've got Thane's power. Is like how somebody makes somebody view their death or something like that. When is it death? Is that his power? If I forget,
I don't even remember.
I just
be
need to know
honest.
I just need to know how to explain Thanos' backstory now with introducing Ariel Star Fox now. Like it just
Yep.
opens a whole new can of worms.
Well, to be honest, I think they're just going to change it up because I mean they can't really adapt Star Fox, right? Like
They might just ignore it.
there's no way they're going to just
They might just
that character's way too problematic. So they're going to have to just give him a new. I mean, keep some stuff, but obviously change. What the character's famous for.
Yeah, look, if they do Eternals 2 or if it appears in another film and you mention, I'm the brother of Thanos, and they'd be like, how come? And somebody would be like, why are you not purple?
Well, they already acknowledged that at that credit scene. That's when the elf introduced him. He said the brother of Thanos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it makes no sense though for the
No,
MCU.
it doesn't. But they're gonna try and crowbar it in.
But at least,
I'm curious to how they're going to explain that because
okay,
it makes no sense as of right now.
To the Eternals, it makes sense. But to if they ever meet the Avengers or some of the other characters, the Guardians or Captain Marvel, be like, I'm the brother of Thanos, and one of them be like, you're not purple.
Well, there's a simple
Well,
explanation.
they got to explain it.
Yeah.
He's literally gonna go like, well, there's a simple explanation for that. And right before he explains it, he gets interrupted. And that's gonna happen every time.
Oh man, that seems like the only way they can get around it. I want to see this too. I'm very curious to see how he utilizes the Wild Storm characters. Hold on, because I don't watch the animated movies. Have they appeared in any animated movies? Like, I'm totally forgetting that guy's name with the red mask or this bandana over his face.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I don't think so.
Because that was like Degrassi will correct me. They got merged with the New 52, right? Like that wasn't something before the New 52.
I'm sorry. Can you just watch matches?
Oh man. The Celestial Madonna. Oh my god.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
no.
Grifter. Grifter is the name. Yeah.
Grifter. There we go. Yes.
Okay, just want to. Oh my god! As long as they do, I just want to see Baby Kang. Baby Kang.
Baby Kang.
Show you a picture of Baby Kang.
Baby
Fine.
cake.
Yeah. Here we go. I know. Should I make up a spoiler for how the Avengers defeat Kang?
Is
Oh,
it
he
really?
left. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, should I make up a video on how I have sources saying how the Avengers and everybody else is going to defeat Kang?
Mm.
I'll show you Baby Kang, guys. Nope, not here. Just a minute.
Okay. You look like a Lego.
Yeah. Yo, it'd be funny if I did Marvel. If I did Marvel, I haven't played Lego Marvel.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I remember this team. Voodoo, Grifter, Spartan, Voodoo, Void, great characters. Yeah, I remember this team. Kang would probably be yeah, you don't know who he's gonna be. Yeah. It's like Kang is kinda like there's a multiverse thing. It's kinda like Vandal Savage, because Vandal Savage has been many villains in the past too. And
Yeah.
right?
I mean, Kang has. Got to be honest here. Kang's a pretty shit villain. I think that's a. Look, I can't even name you one good story arc that he had.
I always thought Kang was a joke of a villain.
Yeah, I mean, like, watch a lot of these MCU fans just start hyping him up because, like, I feel like there's more crap stories with Kang than there are good ones, which is saying a lot because usually some of the best villains in Marvel have, more good stories, right? So it's like them picking Kang as a villain just feels, I'm not super excited if I'm being honest.
Doom? Not Doctor Doom. Please don't make him. I mean, when he does become Doom, but not the actual Doctor Doom.
I mean, that's the other thing. It's like Kang's backstory
What's
and development is so convoluted.
Yeah, what's the story? So, Degrassi, Aaron, if you remember, what's the storyline where it turns out Tony was Kang, and then
Oh,
he ends up dying, and it was a whole bunch of bull crap, and they brought like young Tony Stark from the past, and some garbage like that. I can't remember what it was. It was in the '90s, but stuff like that. I was just like, my God, what are they doing? And a lot of people were even speculating. If you want to know, one of the most um, talked about theories in the MCU was that at the ending of Endgame, it was going to be revealed that Tony Stark was Kang, and it was only because of the storyline. And it was like, bro, why would you want that in a movie? Ugh.
Yeah, that's a little extreme there.
I played Reed Richards for Kang. Okay.
Well, what is the story? I want to know what was the storyline because
I don't
I
remember.
barely remember the story. Degrassi, please help me out. Is it Avengers Forever? No, that wasn't
Yeah.
Avengers for The Crossing. No, what was it?
I'm
Let me
telling
see.
you.
Let me see.
I'm telling you, somebody's gonna die in Ant-Man, and it's not gonna be Scott. It's not gonna be Cassie. It's not gonna be Hope. It's gonna be one. It's gonna be one of Hope's parents. I'm telling you. Hot take. Hot take. One of Hope's parents is gonna die. I would do it. Start off with a bang. Have make Kang. I mean, the Kang is like that version of Kang. Have him threatening. They really do it. Do it. Have him. It's my book. What do you think? I had hot takes for Thor: Love and Thunder that came true.
What was the storyline?
Yeah,
One of the many times I know. But this time it was like, wait, was it? It was the crossing. Okay, yeah, but I mean, this one was like he dies, and then they have to bring back his younger self, and then for a good period of time, like there was no Tony Stark. It was just a younger Tony Stark, and a lot of people just fucking hated his character, so they just got rid of him and brought back the other one, which was dumb. It was like, why do that in the first place? And the thing is, they did this other young Tony Stark thing in the Ultimate Universe too, where it was like Iron Man's comic, his solo comic, was just about young Tony Stark, and it was a fucking mess. It was like, what? Why did you? This is not even Iron Man. This is like a totally different character. So they just got rid of that, retconned his origin in the Ultimate Universe. So, man, Iron Man is such a weird character in the comics. Just all these weird stories that happen to him, where you're just like, what the heck?
mhm. It's one of the reasons why I could.
Returning the Avengers and dies. Yes. Okay. It was. The Crossing just sounds like a weird name for it.
Degrassi, I know it's really early, but like some rumors have that Galactus is like the next big bad after Kang. What do you think?
Well, Doctor Doom.
Mm,
Yeah, a lot of people think it's like a lot of people think Doctor Doom will be more like a Loki villain, which
Oh,
and like
what?
yeah, and like a Mephisto villain.
mm,
Like some is like not the big bad, but still dangerous.
mm.
Like
Oh boy.
the problem is Galactus. Galactus is a big bad villain. It's just that you can't really do a lot of character development with Galactus that much.
I want to know. I want to know Degrassi's opinion on this. Would you prefer Beyonder or Kang as the multiverse villain? I mean, because I know we're definitely not getting Beyonder, just because like it has really no connection to what they're setting up. But besides, his connection with Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to see what Degrassi says on that.
Doom, like, yeah, there's rumors Surfer's coming. Like, there's a rumor out there he might be appearing in the Fantastic Four movie, and he might get his own like a special, like the Werewolf by Night and the Guardians Christmas special.
Hmm.
Right? You heard that, right?
I heard that rumor. I heard also the rumor that he's going to be in Fantastic Four.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to space, so it kind of makes sense. I think the premise of the movie that they're going to be in space, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense that he would show up first, but then the rumor was that it was supposed to be a Disney Plus special
and I'm telling
before
you,
the movie.
all the stuff with Mephisto happening, Ghostfire is not far behind.
Uh,
Hmm.
Like, because like Mephisto is gonna be in Ironheart, not as the main villain. The Hood still be the main villain, but Mephisto is like the one, you know, does what Mephisto does. Apparently, he's not the main villain covering chaos, but he still has influence in that movie. It's apparently gonna be Morgana Le Fay, which, okay, she's a powerful witch, very powerful witch. She arguably be the most second powerful witch behind Scarlet Witch in MCU, or not MCU, Marvel, period. Right,
Hmm.
right. And Mephisto might be behind it, and so Mephisto might become one of those villains. Like, yeah, so as a supernatural villain for more supernatural kind
Definitely.
of heroes. Yeah, so maybe like
I mean, there's some storylines you can do with Mephisto, but I doubt they would do that. I mean, recently he was behind the new Heroes Reborn, which was kind of interesting. It was like basically what if the Marvel universe was basically the DC universe, right? So there's no Iron Man, there's no Captain
mm,
America, there was no Spider Man, right? There was just Hyperion and the Squadron Supreme, and so they were basically like the Justice League in this universe, and there was a lot of like they're merging Marvel characters and making them kind of like DC characters, right? So it was interesting for what it was. I wouldn't say it was like a great story, but just more interesting.
I let you everybody know in Marvel. Oh, maybe we'll come back. Let everybody know
Yeah.
Mephisto, well, he says he's like Satan. He's actually not really Satan in Marvel. There really is no Satan in Marvel. There's a bunch of people who claim to be Satan, and Mephisto's one of them. But there is a Lucifer in Marvel.
Mm.
There is Lucifer, and because I don't want to get biblical here, but there's a lot of and from Midnight Suns, the video game, Lilith is in Marvel. Lilith is a Marvel villain, but it's not the same Lilith in the game. It's like a different universe. Like, because if you know Lilith in the Bible, she's like apparently, you know how we believe Adam and Eve, that Eve is like the first woman, but if you know, there's a belief that Adam had a first wife, it's actually Lilith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But yeah, so Satan and Lucifer, or in Marvel, are totally different characters.
Mm.
Lucifer is the one that actually rebels against God. Not
So
Mephisto.
Degrassi here says, "Is there enough meat
Yeah.
on for the character Beyonder?" I mean, I guess kind of, but like I feel like wasn't there recently they were trying to like add more to his character, which was kind of weird, right? That they would just put out this comic where it was focusing on the Beyonder, and it's like, all right. So in other words, he's gonna appear in a movie, right?
Do you want to see Blackheart in his Blackheart demon form? Because in the Ghost Rider movie, he never you don't see a demon form.
Yeah, you don't see him in his form. Yeah, I would definitely want to see that character.
Demon. And what about Santana? Is that her name Santana? The sister.
Is it? I'm trying to remember.
Sister, right? Of
His sister. Oh, you mean the sister of Hellstorm?
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think those characters are going to appear again in the MCU.
I mean, a lot of people thought they're not gonna. A lot of people thought Mephisto was going to appear in Doctor Strange and WandaVision, and
well, I mean, they had the TV show. She was in the TV show.
Which TV show? Damien?
Remember yeah, they had the Hellstorm, and they took off all the Marvel branding on it, and yeah, it was a Hellstorm show.
I remember Mephisto was supposed to be WandaVision and Doctor Strange. Everybody thought Doctor Strange was Spider-Man with Mephisto. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, that's not Mephisto. First, right? I remember that. Like Mephisto was the whole butt of jokes. Remember the whole time for like beginning of Phase 4, it was Mephisto. It was Mephisto. Like, shut up, Mephisto. I knew Mephisto was not in that show, in that movie.
Well, to be fair, right? There was a lot of weird callbacks to the character, like, or at least the reference of the devil in WandaVision, that it just seemed really weird, right?
I mean, because of riches. Witches and devil kind of go together.
Yeah, but it seemed like, to be honest, like based on how the show was progressing, it did feel like there was someone bigger than Agatha. Like Agatha felt like she was being controlled, and then it was revealed, oh no, she was like just being controlled by Wanda, which felt weird. It didn't really connect with me.
I thought the Darkhold also corrupted Agatha. Because she had the book too.
Well, she's corrupted, but she was under the influence of Wanda, right? From just being in Westview.
Yes.
And so remember, right? Because Vision breaks her out, and then she has like that moment where it's like, oh, what the hell's going on? And then she goes back to being normal. So it was like when there was stuff like that was in the show where it was like, I really wasn't guessing that it was, oh, Wanda's the one controlling everything. It felt like, oh, there was someone else doing something to her, right? So I don't know.
It feels like Mephisto needs, I don't know, like the thing is, Mephisto's supposed to be in the Covenant Chaos, but he's not the main villain. But Mephisto is gonna be in other things. It's gonna lead to a Ghost Rider.
Like Mephisto, like, okay, you know how at the ending of Loki you have the I was about to say the one above all. What's his name? What's that character's name?
Oh, I forget.
The one who, yeah, whatever, right? Like, I think most people assume that Mephisto would have had a role like that, right? Where it's like, oh, he's not like the villain that she fights, but like he shows up and he's like, oh yeah, I was like part of this, right? Like I was kind of like influencing you to do all this stuff. So, and then you can be like, oh, okay, that sort of makes sense. He's not like a main villain, but like he's part of the problem, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. I just think the ending of WandaVision just ruins the show for me because I
Yeah,
really like the show, and then it just turns into,
that's a
a
problem.
standard Marvel ending.
The MCU season finale, season finales, I'll say, or series finale, because not every show is. Well, I technically only Loki has another season, but we don't know for all the other shows. The finales
Mhm.
don't really hit it, most of them. Yeah, the
No,
problem.
they just, I think people are right. They're not really structured like a show. They're structured more like a movie. But it was
Yeah,
really weird because WandaVision didn't feel like a movie. It felt like a television show. So when it just turns into a Marvel movie, you're like, man, this is not what I wanted to happen. I wanted like, not to just be like, oh, Vision fights Vision,
and
and then oh, they fight Agatha. It was just like, this is
Agatha,
lame.
Agatha is gonna become a good guy in the MCU because
Definitely.
she's like because that's who she is in the comics. She becomes good. So
Well, yeah, she's not like a total. I don't know. She's more of a neutral character, right?
not anymore.
So,
And not in the Midnight Suns game. She's a pure good guy. Like I can tell you that. In the Midnight
uh,
Suns game, Mephisto has a connection, well, with an X-Men character or a mutant character, Magic, because Magic has grown to, because she created her own realm, Limbo, right? After,
mhm,
right, and like, and what happened, like in the game, Ghost Rider betrays you. Well, Johnny Blaze betrays the team to Mephisto. He wants to
mhm,
he traps the main character in Limbo with Mephisto because of what of a piece of the Darkhold says. There's a parchment as part of Darkhold, and it says the destiny of prophecy of your main character and the mother and then of the mother. And and Johnny Blaze is afraid of that. So what he does, he tricks the
mhm,
team and your character by making a deal with Mephisto to trap the main character in Limbo with Mephisto. But Magic helps you out to escape from Limbo because she can do that,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
Yeah, it's great, and yeah, and Degrassi, Doctor Doom is in Midnight Suns. Well, technically, he makes a you don't see his face, but you do see his metal armor hand pick up the Darkhold after at the game's end.
mhm. Yeah, you were telling me that.
Yeah, because he's like you know, he'd do anything, right? Like for power.
Mhm,
I feel bad. They should just 100 MCU. No, they won't.
mhm.
They won't. It'd be funny though. But how would you make a hunter in MCU a female or a male? I don't know.
I would say female.
Probably
A little
because
bit more interesting.
they say he's a they say the character's a half demon, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure because I don't know if Lilith was a half and as a human was half demon because I thought she was just a
Mhm,
witch and she became a demon because of Cthulhu. I thought she was just a witch.
mhm.
I have no idea. I don't like it confused me.
No, if there's one thing, if they ever did bring, because I'm not sure if she's in they have the Midnight Suns comic,
Yeah,
so I'm not sure if the Hunter's in that. But if they ever did bring the character, they definitely need to change that name
and
because
yeah, they need a name.
there's the I'm reading the new Moon Knight, and so there's like a second Moon Knight, and his name is I always like mix it up. It's either let me just Google it just to make sure I don't mess it up.
Yeah, I agree with you. You need to change it.
It's hold on,
You
what's
need
his
to
name?
change it.
Hunter's Moon,
Yeah, I think
Moon's
yeah.
Hunter.
They need to
Let
choose a
me
name.
just
You can't. Yeah, if they do introduce the comics or even MCU, which they won't, they do
let
need
me
a
just
name. They definitely do.
Okay,
It's
it's
not.
Hunter's Moon. That's his name, right? He's a really cool character. I like the idea of this character, but I hate the fucking name. The name is just like Hunter's Moon. Like when I first read that, I was like, that's so lame. Like you couldn't come up with a better
I
name.
mean, if if it's true, if it's true, Aubrey Plaza is gonna be more gonna fit. Why couldn't they just get Elizabeth Hurley to be her?
Mm,
Because she was in Runaways. Oh my
Yeah,
god!
that means it's Runaways is not canon, right?
But they did say Runaways was supposed to be canon. I don't know anymore. I really don't know. Like I thought they said it was supposed to. Like, some of these people, some of these writers on those shows said it's canon to the MCU. But like, there's a lot of confusion in some of these shows. The shows.
I'm just sort of surprised that show's not canon and they didn't bother continuing it.
You agree? You and me agree. They should do Runaways in MCU.
Yes, I agree. They should. I don't. The show. I didn't actually watch the show because it didn't. I was like, this feels a little too like teen drama.
It
Which
is,
I mean,
bro.
sure,
That's what
that
they are.
is
They're
that is
teen.
what they are. But like, I wanted it to be on the scale of the MCU, right? Like, so it just was like, I don't think I would watch this. But like, I definitely want to see the characters. So, I mean, I guess you could just
I
reboot it and just have it in the
there,
MCU.
there, there is a crazy rumor out there that Chloe Bennett's character Daisy, right, or Daisy or Sky, whatever you want to call her from Agents of Shield, supposed to be Secret Invasion. And I'm like, remember in the early days of that show, in the early days of MCU, it was canon and then became not canon, and now it's gonna be canon again. What?
Mm,
I don't like because some characters in MCU appear in that show. Nick Fury was in that show. Maria Hill, Lady Sith was in that show. They did mention events of Sokovia, the Sokovia Accords. They did mention Avengers stuff. They mentioned even Thanos a little bit. I don't like it's too these shows they're too confusing. You either have to say it's outright non-canon or canon.
yeah. I mean, I think we'll know in time.
Yeah.
Because I think you were right about the Daredevil show. It's definitely gonna be like a PG show. So I think if that turns out to be a PG show, I would not be surprised
It's
if none of the events of the Netflix shows like it has no connection to the MCU.
it's gonna be like tell me it's gonna be like Moon Knight or Hawkeye. That's what I feel it's gonna be like.
Yeah,
Like I
it
told
probably
people,
it,
it's not
yeah.
gonna be mature. It's not gonna be way to mature.
I mean, I just had a feeling that that's what it was going to be, but the way that they were talking, the way that
Yeah.
especially Charlie Cox was talking, it did sound like it was going to be mature rated. Because why would he say, "Oh, this was in the same line of like Deadpool"? Like Daredevil could appear in a Deadpool movie. Doesn't that imply that the character is rated R, and so he can cross over with a rated R character?
But
Like
he was
why would he say, oh, they're like similar?
but then he
It's like,
saw
well,
him
they're not similar.
then he saw him as She-Hulk, which is oh by the
Yeah,
way, I'm getting a She-Hulk Funko this week.
I've never even seen her Funko.
And it's gonna be twerking on stream.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I would buy it if it's the twerking Funko Pop.
There is
I
no.
would
I don't
definitely
think
buy
there
that.
is one.
They need to make one. They need to make one. What
Yeah,
are they
yeah.
doing?
It's coming
They're
Thursday.
wasting resources by not making
Yeah.
a
That was
twerking
that would
She-Hulk.
sell a lot of money.
Yes, it would. It
I
would.
look at some. I look at some of the on games. Yeah. On game right. GameStop's website, right? I look at
Mm,
what they having future Marvel stuff, Marvel Funkos. So they have the Ant Man stuff, Val. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not impressed with the Ant Man Funkos besides Kang.
no, I hate the Ant-Man suit. It looks so
Yes.
weird. It doesn't fit the character. I don't know what they were designing there. I know people are pointing out, oh, it looks like his original costume because it has the circle, but you're looking at it and you're just like, this is a mess. This that was like one of the worst MCU suits as of recently because it doesn't look like it's new, but yet it does, and then it's just like, what the hell am I looking at?
it's
It's
just
weird.
like I only want the Kang Funko Pop. That's
Mm,
the only one I want. I don't even like the Modoc one.
no, I don't really. I really don't like the Modoc design. It just looks somehow it looks more cartoony than Modoc,
You think?
which
You
is
think you're gonna make?
weird.
You think you're gonna make Modoc too corny of a character?
Um,
I feel like they are. Because I
uh,
think you told me he's not the real villain. I think you told me Bill Murray might be the actual real villain.
yeah, I feel like Bill Murray's the actual villain, not Modoc, because it just doesn't really make sense. And on top of that too, if the rumor is true that Modoc is
Yellow
um
Jacket.
yeah, Yellow Jacket, then it would be like, well, why would you he's the same villain as the first movie? That just seems weird.
Yeah. I mean, look, Avengers is not the best game, but how that guy became Molodog was actually pretty good. But that's
Yeah, it was interesting, but like I could never see that happening in the MCU.
no, because yeah, that's basically yeah, that's Inhuman stuff and the Mist. Yeah,
Yeah, and the way he transforms, it just doesn't feel like that would happen in the MCU. It feels a little too campy. Like because he is like his head is growing and then it turns into a giant head. Like I think that would cross a line for some people, which is kind of funny and ironic, but it just doesn't. I can't see that being in the MCU, and well, it isn't, right? So
I just want to know what the I just want to hear his voice.
yeah, I'm. Like I said, I mean, I think the first trailer for Ant-Man was good, but I'm starting to see where it might have some problems,
People
right?
are
Just
pointing out like don't I think the director made a not is it the director or one of the directors made a mistake saying this is gonna be an Avenger style movie. I think that's a
yes,
mistake.
Peyton Reed did say that, which I think was a big mistake too. Yeah, I agree.
Like
Peyton, Peyton Reed is. I just can't believe that they just let him make these movies. Like the Ant-Man movies were so uninspiring. Like I'm surprised people like them. They're like, oh yeah, like Ant-Man. The first Ant-Man's like my favorite Marvel movie, and I'm like,
of
really?
of the movies, each character has their own movies. He might have the weakest villains. We only
He
have two.
has some of the weakest villains, some of the weakest stories. Like that second movie, I hated that second movie. That like to me that was like Thor: Dark World bad. Like
Yeah,
it
but
was like, what the hell am I watching? Like
the only
this is the
the only thing that got me interested in that movie. I mean, it's a Marvel movie, so I see comic book movies all the time. But it's I guess it's because Infinity War was just before it, and I want to see how Ant Man was affected from the snap and stuff, which is after credits
which
scene.
which is that yeah, it's not even about the movie, right? Like
Yeah,
if that was about the movie, way more interesting, but no. And also too the fact that they never did Kev sorry, I was gonna say Kevin. No, it's Eric O'Grady. Why? Like that would have been a lot more interesting for a villain, but no, we didn't get that. Oh man. Yeah, and now this I mean this movie might be good, but I wouldn't hold my breath on it. I don't even think Kang is going to be interesting in that movie. Like, what's his motivation? What is his motivation?
Kang.
Am I? Yeah,
He just wants to make his universe in his own image. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll
That doesn't
find
seem
out.
that compelling to me.
Yeah, because a lot of villains do it. I've said that before, done it before. He's done it
Yeah,
first. It's like it's very cliche.
yeah. I really hope that Ant-Man 3 establishes his motivation,
I
or
could
Loki season 2.
I could see Peyton Reed doing Secret Wars. Yeah, he's probably top of the list.
Who? Sit.
He thought because if he's doing the Ant-Man stuff, I could definitely see Peyton Reed being top of the list to do Secret
Oh,
Wars. Fortunately,
please, please, no. I hope to God that does not happen.
it's got Joss Whedon.
Please, you guys are putting some bad ethos into the universe. No,
Look,
Peyton Reed is such a uninspired. Like he's, in my opinion, like he is what people say like generic for hire director. Like, uh, like I would rather take the Russo brothers, or if it was Ryan Coogler, like Ryan Coogler directing Secret Wars, I would be okay. Right? I wouldn't be pissed. But Peyton Reed, no, no, oh hell no.
I mean,
I'm
oh man,
sorry.
it's so sad to hear what the original story was for Black Panther 2.
Mm,
Because it's supposed to be like if it was supposed to be T'Challa meeting his son, I miss so much
Yep.
story. Fortunately, unfortunately, stuff didn't happen that way because of Chadwick Boseman's,
Looks.
death, and they had to pivot to write a different story.
Yeah. It's kind of unfortunate. I mean, the
Yeah,
movie is what it is. But
I don't
yeah,
think it
I
would
think it
ever.
could have been.
I
Yeah,
don't
what
think
were
it
we
would
gonna say?
ever.
Sorry.
I don't think it would ever reach where the heights of the first movie. 'Cause that movie, like
No.
that,
Yeah.
they say, you told me that Marvel movies are not. They're not cultural, right? I mean, they're big in pop culture, but they're not big in like overall cultural. But Black Panther was.
Mm. Yeah, like they had like some sort of impact.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have impact, but like, um,
Not on the scale of Black
I'm trying
Panther.
to remember what I said. It wasn't that they weren't culturally significant because they are, right? It's
Yes.
just that they don't like Black Panther was very unique, and there hasn't been a Marvel movie that was like unique since I would say maybe like Guardians of the Galaxy or and then before that it was like Avengers, right? Like the MCU kind of just like skates by on just like what worked in the past and they just replicate it instead of doing something where it's like, oh yeah, we're changing it up um a little bit, right? To keep things fresh. Yeah.
Mhm. Unfortunately, the audience get older. You know,
Yeah.
and like the MCU is, it's no bit older than a decade, right? It's about 12, 13 years old, and a lot of
Hmm.
people are like, I mean, you know what? You know the difference between Star Wars fans and MCU fans? A lot of people that go to MCU movies are around our age. Well, I'm older, I'm about a decade older than you,
Hmm.
but they're around kids to around maybe 35, 40. Star Wars fans, they're over 40, they're over 50, they're over
Yeah.
older
They're
60.
way, way older.
Yeah. Like people don't realize Star Wars has a more an older demographic, a bigger demographic age range than Marvel and DC. And
Well, I mean, it
Marvel,
sort of makes sense though, because I feel like Star Wars toys don't sell well anymore.
no, no, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm kind of biased because I don't really shop for anything like collectibles or stuff like that. But when I go on YouTube and I see these videos where like people are kind of just like looking around the stores, and then you see
Yeah,
like, oh, it's mostly Star Wars stories that are just left over. Like to me, I was like, I'm kind of not surprised
and
because I'm like, the movies don't really feel like they're geared toward kids.
the thing is, with MCU, if they're old, if they're in their 40s or 50s or wherever, they might go see with their kids.
Hmm. Well,
With Star,
some Marvel movies also play to an older audience because
yes,
they don't sell good with merchandise, like Eternals.
and I've been to Star Wars movies where I 67-year-olds in it watching.
Hmm. Yep.
And Marvel and DC's been out longer than Star Wars. Star Wars is about almost 50. And 27 is 50, right? 50 years old because
Mm.
1977 is the first movie. But DC, well, Superman's almost 100 years old, and 1939, 38,
Yeah, it
Superman.
might be 38.
So it's almost 100 years
No,
old.
yeah, it's very close. Let me see.
So Superman's almost 50 years older than,
Yeah, 39.
yeah. Superman's like 50 years older than Marvel. I mean, not Marvel than Star Wars, but Star Wars has a demographic that's older than the comics.
Yeah, because the comics were geared toward more kids.
And look,
So then some people outgrew them instead of like
look,
staying with it.
and look, Degrassi is like an outlier because Degrassi, I know how old Degrassi is. He's older than
Yeah.
us, and he's an outlier. And there's some people in our community, in Max community, that's older than us. Like William, for example, much older than us. I'm not going to
Hmm.
find his age and stuff, but there's some people in that community that are older than us are still into Marvel and DC. But a lot of the audience is really, really young.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
It's
yeah, it's an old medium, and I think the thing is like there are people who've obviously read the characters. They just didn't keep up with them,
yeah.
right?
It,
Yeah,
they,
that's the
it was
thing.
to them. It was a child, and being a child, you're as a child you love these characters, and you outgrown them.
I think maybe that here's my thing, right? This might be my theory. There's I think the reason why Marvel is also popular is because Marvel Marvel was more like in the 60s, that's when they started. And so that kind of lines up with like the people who can't like Degrassi's probably like in that age group. I'm gonna assume, right? Because I don't know his exact.
I know his age.
Then you could say like he's in that era like that grew up when Marvel was first coming out. Yes or no? Or maybe like a decade after.
He's after
Because that's
60s. I think he's after 60s.
okay, then
A
yeah,
little bit
that
after 60s.
then that's like one of the time because like my dad grew up on Marvel comics and like collected it, right? And that's how I got into it, like way before the MCU,
So he's just
right?
1970. Yeah, 1970. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
like and he's my dad's like born in like the 60s, so he told me, yeah, I would buy Spider-Man and Fantastic Four and Avengers and all these other comics, right? So it's like I had like some knowledge before all
Spider-Man.
the MCU.
Spider-Man was a hit with the hippies, the young people with the
Yeah.
hippies. I'm telling you, in the
Well,
60s.
yeah, that's why Spider-Man was so popular. And
Yeah.
also I think because of what happened with 9/11, I think that's also why it was popular. But
Oh yeah, that too.
yeah, right. So
Because that was
I
in the
think like
trailer, wasn't it?
well, I mean no, not so much the
I
the
know.
Twin Towers itself, but I mean just like
Hmm.
people were mourning and so like to have like someone like Spider-Man, it was kind of like
Yeah.
almost like cathartic. You know what I mean? Like people just went to go see it because it
They
was
had,
like
they had to
they
edit
needed
that.
a hero, right?
They edited that movie to take the Twin Hours out of it.
Okay, yeah, he said 5270.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean you would be in that same age group that I'm
Yeah.
talking about then. Because it's like they kind of grew up on Marvel comics, and so then when the
I
movies came
mean,
out, they were sort of already like
the 60s, the 60s had that.
30s
The
to
60s,
40s.
the 60s DC was that kid-friendly DC.
Yeah, like DC was and I mean DC people. I mean people obviously like they grew up on
Hmm.
the Batman 60s cartoon. There were some people who, I mean, Superman had the serials and stuff, but then that was like so much older. I mean, there was, what was there
Wow.
something in between, like in the 60s with Superman, or I guess there wasn't.
I don't know. Wow, that's
Oh,
that's
wow.
passion. That's I know the 1940s. How that's when the comics really started to blow up in the 40s because
Hmm.
it was really big with World War II with the military. They started reading Superman, Captain America, those two, especially those two characters in the 40s because they're all about America, the American way, stuff like that.
Hmm.
That's where they blew up. If it wasn't, I think if it wasn't for the war, I mean, we don't want war, obviously, especially world wars. I don't know if comics would have blown up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
Mm.
that's why I say 9/11. That's why the
Yeah,
Spider-Man movie was so popular. Is it seems like when there's a time of distress, like it's like people gravitate toward that type of story.
yeah, yeah. That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's very interesting. That's why I say like you got to kind of keep it fresh in order to like
And
preserve it.
and now when you try to incorporate it into what the times like now in the world, you're gonna have people say, "Oh, it's woke."
Yeah, which is. Uh, I mean, you can argue that there at one point these characters were kind of propaganda too, right?
Yes,
Like
they
if we're talking
were.
about world, right? So
Oh, Captain America! Captain America is all propaganda at one point.
yeah. I mean, well, Superman had sometimes
Yeah.
like it's very weird where it's like like some of the more progressive stuff in Superman's history was more outside of the comics,
Hmm.
right? Like I mean the radio where it was like he was fighting the KKK,
No,
right? That was like that was a pretty big deal.
good.
I mean
And
that
now they're
was
gonna,
one of the reasons why the whole
yeah,
history of like of the degrading the KKK was that's the
and
radio special that did a pretty big hit on them as a group.
And now you got people that say, "Oh, that's Vocus. They shouldn't be doing
Yeah,
that." Like, dude, it's the KKK. They deserve that kind of stuff.
yep.
It's like, and
But
they thought,
I've even seen people downplay Stan Lee's sort of like, oh, more progressive outlook, which is weird. Totally weird that people would argue that.
hey, comic book writers were progressive before progressive was even a word. It's used a lot.
Yeah. I mean it's like when you go back and you read a lot of the early Marvel stuff, it's
Wow.
very apparent.
Wow,
Oh wow.
your father is like a millennial. That's
Mm,
like, I'm kidding, guys. Yeah, like
no, that's
you know,
interesting though when like the older generation like adopts the new technology and they actually like
good,
it.
good, because there's a lot of older people that what is this stuff? They didn't do this back in
Yes.
our day, like,
Yeah, they just like throw it to the side.
and I'm like, yeah, probably back in your day, if you had this technology back in your day, you probably would have done this stuff too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they were dreaming about this technology, so it's
Yes,
like,
the
you know what I mean?
public,
So,
the public did not get internet access until the '90s.
mm-hmm.
The internet was around for decades, but the '90s is when we got public internet, and there was dial-up internet.
Mm.
Like, yeah, but
But
the
Degrassi makes a good point though. Like, I think more people should learn about the comic history and like how it is so like tied to world events or like even in American culture. It's very interesting. I mean, it's probably the reason why I still follow the genre.
see, this at one point they are, but not anymore. I like because like
Yeah.
freaks and nerds used to be like they used to be the guy people that get picked on at school or like a social outcast stuff like that, and they're the ones that read comic books and like read comic books and like this kind of stuff. Now, being a freak or nerd, especially a nerd, freak freaking weirdos is still pretty much you
Yeah,
know
that's like that could be anybody.
yeah, but nerds like it's okay to be a nerd.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like and
It's
now
like
everybody
cool.
it's like, yeah, it used to be. He's right. It used to be like liking these heroes, liking comic books, liking this, not just comic books, but Star Wars, Star Trek. You're considered a nerd,
Hmm.
and you're considered like, and you got the people at schools like the jocks, the cool people pick on you because of that. But now those cool people, those jocks, guess what? Athletes, they love this stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, well, because the movies and stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, it changed the view. Yeah, it changed the perspective. Yep.
mm,
I like.
yep. It's super fascinating. I kind of like that's why I wish there was maybe like someone made because I know that they were trying to make that Stan Lee biopic. I mean, Stan Lee's kind of like way early, you know, in the history. But I mean, it's kind of interesting, like to look back and like why certain characters were made and what their purpose is, right? Because I think people tend to forget that, like why Spider-Man existed, right?
Mhm.
And what his purpose was. Because some people just see the character and they just like, the stories and the villains and stuff like that. But like they don't really know why he existed, right? Why do we have all these characters, right? Is it really just to sell merchandise or was it, I mean, it is, right? But I mean, like, what was the other reason? And I always think that that's interesting when they come up with some of these characters, right? Like
The reason,
when Stan Lee came up with Black Panther, right?
yeah, the reason Batman was created, they wanted a different kind of hero than Superman, right? But
Hmm.
Gotham, I think, is based off. You could say New Jersey, but I think it's based off New York City. And New York City, when Batman was around, was a very crime-riddled city, right? And
Hmm.
they wanted to base it off of crime-riddled city, Batman with the mafia, with the mob and stuff. And they needed somebody like that, a character like that represents New York City, basically. the bad of New York City. So they went. That's what Batman was about.
Mm.
I know that. Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. That's, it used to be like now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Mm.
Newark, yeah, yeah. Newark is like New Jersey is known as a garbage state because there's a lot of
Oof.
it is none of that. I mean, that's what people call it. Like, yeah, and yeah. Here heroes, the comic books, whoever created, it doesn't matter which hero they were created for a reason. They were not just there to tell us this story. They were created there for a reason, a cultural reason. Like Stan Lee did that. X Men was basically about World War II. I mean, the Holocaust and how it could be people doing this terrible things to other people just for being different.
Mm.
That's what the Hugh Mutant thing is about, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. Some people are trying to downplay that, like, well, that was never his intention. Or when
That's the whole
they like to
Magneto
say,
thing.
I know. It's insane that people bring that up, and they're like, oh, what's that X-Men by Chris Claremont? Well, God loves men kill. People are like, oh, like that doesn't represent minority rights. Like that was just part of the plot. Like they didn't really care about the message or the progressive themes of it, right? But it's like, it's so blatant, it's on the nose where it's just like, come on, like how can you ignore that, right? Like that's the most famous Marvel story, and you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, it has no cultural significance. It's just a superhero story that just has like nothing to say about society. It's mind blowing that people say that. It's just like, come on.
The whole X-Men thing is about how people could do this to each other for being different. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. I just think that's just
That's
mind
placed
blowing when they
that
do
placed
that.
in human history for millenniums, man.
Mm,
That's not just World War II. Yes, it was based off World War II, but that kind of stuff has been going on before World War II. Like, come on.
yeah,
It's, it's so
yeah. It's
stupid.
it's it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, I know Degrassi. I know. I know. Now, hey, Degrassi, you're married. I don't know if you have kids, but you're
Mm-mm.
married now, so it's okay, right?
So I guess it doesn't matter in the long run.
Yeah. The ladies liked it too, man. Look, the ladies like a hero, okay? They like a hero. Like, tell me,
Mm,
which lady would like to be with Superman or Batman? Come on. Well, you would like to be Batman, but I don't know.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter as
Yeah.
long as they look like Robert Pattinson. I guess it's okay.
Oh, the Twilight? The Twilight, not the Batman. Not for Batman, from Twilight, though.
Or Henry Cavill. It doesn't matter. They just have to be good looking. That's it.
Yeah.
They can't just be like goofy looking Batman, and then he takes off his mask, and you're like, I think I'm good. It's like you look better with the mascara and the mask on. It's like, damn. At that
Yeah,
point, like you just gotta jump off the building.
they're gonna cast an ugly Batman.
Yeah, like that would never fly. That would never work.
Yeah, you're gonna cast like a very ugly Batman. Just like, oh,
They can't. They really can't.
no.
Like look at everybody who's played Batman. Like the only one I would say maybe not the like he's okay, I guess, is Michael Keaton,
Yeah. The thing
right?
is,
But everybody else, yeah,
oh,
it's not even a contest.
wait, soap bars?
So that's funny. Oh my god.
Let me get rid of this shit.
Oh, the damn bots. You see, we start talking about good-looking men, and then the bots
I
come.
know.
It's like, damn. It's like they heard us. It's like they were waiting.
Yeah, that's funny. Soap bars. I mean, well, that's pretty funny. We're ending 10 minutes at 12:30.
Hmm.
Because it's a good fun stream. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, since this is related to the stream, the title, I don't want them to have the classic Superman suit. I want them in the movie to do the action comic with Grant Morrison suit, where it's just his T-shirt and the blanket as a cape, and he's got jeans. I know people would hate the fuck out of that,
I will take
but
that.
I want to see that. I just want to bring it up because I was just looking at it right now.
But you get pissed off, not just the Irish fans, but the other fans too for that take.
Yes, I know so many people would be pissed off if that was like this first thing that they see, like
Yes.
him in a T-shirt and jeans. I'm sure people would get pissed off, but it would just, I don't know. I saw it and I was like, that'd be they. I think they should do that, right? And then later on, he gets a suit in the movie, right?
You know what? Just do it for fun. Do it, do it, do it.
Listen, if James Gunn is listening, that's his challenge. Do the T-shirt Superman with the jeans, and have that everywhere on the poster.
I mean, the new
Yes,
52,
it's really good. That's the only good thing in the new 52 for Superman is the as Action Comics.
Lois would be like, hey, Superman wears the same size jeans as you, Clark.
Mm.
Well, hilarious. I don't know. We need a good Lois Lane. Somebody like it could be like Lois. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who. I think I saw one. Obviously, they can't pick her because now she's in the MCU. I think I've said it before. What I'm totally blanking on her name. What's her name? God damn. We were just talking about her.
that's
Electric
funny.
Superman.
So Isaac was making fun of Jonah Hill as Superman from the Ted 2,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, you were telling me. Yes, yes.
So he said, you know what? They should recast the whole movie Superman. Jonah Hill as Superman. Channing Tatum is Jimmy Olsen.
Oh God.
I don't know I forgot who the villain was. I'm not Walt Diggle. No, I know he was the villain in the first movie. He said Brie Larson is Lois Lane.
Oh.
That'd be hilarious.
Oh man.
It really pissed off the people. Can you measure as Lois Lane?
No, I can't. I when she was first announced for Captain Marvel, I liked it, but after seeing it, I wish she played another character.
She was so excited about the Captain Marvel. All she did when she was announced as Captain Marvel was replying to people's tweets, like over and over.
Yes.
Like what
I don't even think I think Brie Larson is probably a nice person, like from what I've seen. Like I'm surprised people went at her so hard because I thought she was like well liked even before she got casted, right? Then something and then the interview, she acts weird in interviews, and then when you see her when she's not in an interview, she just seems like a regular person, which is weird. I don't know if she doesn't like the press junket, but like every single press junket I've seen her in, she looks miserable.
I don't blame her, man. If I got interviewed all the time, I'd probably be miserable too, man. If I was like an athlete after every game or like game and I get interviewed and get the same questions in every interview, I'll be like, oh man, I have to answer this again. I'll be like, and you have to because you know those questions are coming.
Sure, but like I think it for her, like it looks kind of bad when she's like very snappy to people where you're just like, that's not a very good look. Like even if you were pissed, right? Like you just don't want to be there. I wouldn't act snappy, right? Like because like especially for her, right, being a woman, like people are gonna just use that as ammo, unfortunately.
The difference between I think the difference between celebrities and they probably should be coached. I think they are coached, but I'm not 100% sure. But with athletes,
they have to be coached.
With athletes, they're coached how to do interviews. because they get interviewed like almost every single night, and they get the same questions every single night. And personally, I would get annoyed with the same questions every single night. And the interviewers and the athletes in the press conference or the press junkies are like asking the same question about the game, what happened in the game, and they have to ask you that question, and they know the answer to that, but they want to hear it from the athlete. And athlete
Mhm.
really some athletes be professional, be like being we're not. They'll be frustrated. They'll have their face their frustration, and they'll be professional. And most of them will be. But and if it was me, I'd be like, you saw the game, you know what happened. Like, do I really have to go in detail?
Mhm.
With me, if I played bad, yeah, I played bad. I didn't play a good game. The team, I didn't help my team win. I'll probably say this. Personally, I would say no. I completely sucked tonight. My team didn't win. I played bad. Didn't help my team win. I'll just say it out loud. I sucked. I sucked. There. No, don't even take
Mhm.
that out of context, Matt. I
Yeah, but then
told
they do take it out of context. I
yeah,
mean, I just feel bad for Brie Larson.
because
I don't think she deserves the hate.
no, or because of that one interview where everybody turned on her with that about there should be more diverse people ask
Yeah, like they use that, and then
yeah,
they kind of just demonize her, and it just like
blue.
she's. I really don't think. I think, to be honest, her personality seems to be like she isn't very good with like the spotlight, because like if you've seen her asking questions, and there's like a large amount of people, she acts very weird, which I'm not sure if like
She's a little awkward.
there's. Well, she just says things where you're like, I don't think you. I don't know like why you would say that. Like, did you see the interview where she was like, "Oh, like, do people even want me back as Captain Marvel?" Do you remember that? That happened like recently, where you're like,
Yes,
that's kind of
that was
that's a weird
D23.
response. Yeah, right. So it was like, I'm starting to think that she just doesn't like being in the public.
Well,
Because there's some actors like that.
she had a YouTube channel. Like,
Well, yeah, but when she's acting on her YouTube channel, it's like different. Right? Because
uh,
it's like when you're on YouTube, it's not the same of like, oh, you're being in a crowd and you're being interviewed,
yeah, that's
right?
true. You're different. You're different. Yeah, like we could say it for us, right?
And
We were
on
like,
top of that too, she's doing a job when she's out in the crowd. Like her YouTube channel was just talking about Animal Crossing. Like that's all it was. Yeah,
she
and
did
she
a
was like
live.
super excited to talk about Animal
I
Crossing. It is
remember.
weird.
I remember that live stream she did for charity, and she was getting attacked by
Yeah,
Phantom Menace, and I'm pretty sure she's aware of it, but they ignored it. But the mods didn't do anything. Her mods were terrible,
terrible. Yeah.
terrible. Like, and I'm like, oh my god. And I don't know who's in Yellow Flash. I think Quartering is in it. There was a bunch of them in it, and oh my god, like I, I really felt bad for her. Like all she wanted to do was waste charity. That stream was about wasting charity, and these assholes come in to try to sabotage her stream. And you know what
Yeah.
happened? They told everybody that that think like them to come in her stream. And guess what? She gets more live viewers. And what live viewers equal to? More views. What more views equal to? More money.
Well, I don't even think she cares about the money. Like her just doing it, like to me, was just kind of shows that like she has other interests. Like she wants to do
She's a
something
big
else. I mean,
gamer.
she was doing yoga. Well, yeah, she said that she likes Nintendo. So
She was in the Swish ad.
yeah, she was. Yeah, because she said that. She
Yeah.
said that she liked Nintendo. She was talking about it, and then
Yeah.
that's why she did the channel. So
Yeah.
I'm like, so yeah, I don't know. Some people give some of these celebrities a little bit too much shit. When some of the times they have anxiety, or they're just not good on camera. Like they're acting, right. Like they don't need
It's
to be
it's
harassed.
it's
You know.
different than
Yeah,
acting.
but then there's just dickheads.
It's different than acting in front of like in front of on a YouTube. In YouTube, it's different than in an actual theater or a theater studio or a TV studio. It's different.
Hmm.
It's different. It's but because in her videos, it seems like she's more genuine, right? Like right? Look at us. Look at
Yeah, it
us.
does.
Look at us. We don't act. What was I gonna say? Oh shit! I don't think she's done. You know what she actually used to do a lot of liking people's comments on her YouTube channel, and sometimes
Yeah.
replies. And I think it's really her that does that.
Well, she probably gonna stop
Hmm. I
because
don't
it's
know.
like, she must get a lot of comments, and a lot of those are gonna be hate comments. I mean, I mean, she gets baited all the time on Twitter, so it makes me wonder why she just doesn't give it to
Well,
like a publicist.
she hasn't done a video in 4 months. But of course, she's
I
busy.
think if you're a celebrity, you should not run your social media account. I
So,
think it's kind of sometimes really bad, or just like kind of
you know,
hurts them.
they sometimes either don't think or they know they shouldn't put this out there, but they do it just to get attention, to get a reaction.
Yeah, like I mean, it's kind of cool when James Gunn comes out and like dunks on people, but at the same time, like if that's somehow going to translate to hurting the DC universe, I would say just don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, because now all of a sudden, like there was NBC articles where they were like taking James Gunn out of context. I was like, wow, I was not expecting this, right? Like they would take this and just spin the story to make it look like James Gunn lied about Henry Cavill. That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
should probably just stop doing it, to be honest.
like it was Brie Larson. Like, what is the deal with Mecha Random? Oh my god.
Yeah, I heard that's a weird obsession.
Yeah,
I wonder if Brie Larson even knows about her, because that'd be very interesting.
she knows what Defend the Menace.
No, but like specifically her,
She ain't
because
Defend the Menace
she
anymore.
goes after Brie Larson way too hard. Like to the point where it's like obsessive behavior.
It is obsessive behavior. She's it's like it's Mecha Random is
Like,
not well in the head.
yeah, like I like okay, we get it, you make money off talking about her, but then there's something weird about it where it's like you're off camera and you're still talking about Brie Larson like you knew her. Like you don't know this woman. You know, she's not like someone that went to your high school or some shit, right? Like it's weird.
Or or you auditioned for the same role and she beat you out for it. No.
Yeah. It's really bizarre.
Yeah. She's sick in the head, Mecha. She needs help,
Yeah.
seriously. Like like with her, it's like what she talked about, the Texas shooting with those kids. Oh,
Yeah. I mean, she went
uh,
after us. She
she
went
got
after the Geek Getaway.
I
She
don't
said that
know.
we try to ruin her livelihood or some shit because we because I put a thumbnail of her crying and Tony made a video
Oh, I
complaining
think
about
I
her.
remember that.
Yes,
Oh,
it was like the dumbest thing. She was like, "You see this? Like this makes me look unflattering, and they're trying to ruin my." It's like, bro, there wasn't even like 500 views on that video. It was like, relax.
these people don't understand this. The stuff they say, the stuff they put out there, they ruin themselves. Like they say people can't. They're trying to cancel me. Do this. People don't realize you could cancel yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if you talk like if you give them enough rope, they'll hang themselves, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it happens all the time. Like, and
and she's definitely one of those people. I mean, she's. I mean, I guess we could say this on stream. Like she ruined a lot of her connections.
she is part of
I'm not sure
Fundamental.
if you know that.
Yes, she has. She is part of Phantom Menace. She was with the Fire Night guys, Geeks and Gamer. She did stuff like that. Then they even
They disassociated
yeah,
themselves with her, which says a lot.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna end it here because it's late, it's 12:30. But thank you for coming on. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more backstage. Thank you. Like, share,
Yeah,
subscribe. Blah
my
blah.
headphones died, so yeah.
Okay. Promote yourself, blah blah if you want. Making videos on your channel. I know you're planning something,
Um,
aren't you?
I probably will next. All right, this week I guess because it's Monday. Might just do
Okay.
shorts.
Shorts, yeah, those are fun. I haven't done a short in a while. But yeah, guys, share, subscribe, comment below. Do the typical drill, YouTube drill.
Yeah, it was nice talking with you, Degrassi, and DL. I know he left. I'm not sure.